It's round 3 action of the Andrew Johns and Laurie Daily Cups live from Campbelltown Stadium, and it's all live here on Bar TV via the Country Rugby League Facebook page. It's a weird old morning here in Sydney southwest. There's clouds to the north and some clouds to the south as well, but humid enough. And we're going to have kick-off in around about 5 minutes' time in the first match of this doubleheader in round 3 action, as we just touched on, West Tigers and the Penrith Panthers. Curtis Woodward, and joined this morning with me from the 81st Minute commentary team is the one and only Cam Hickson. Hello, good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Curtis. Good morning, viewers and listeners, no matter where you may be around this wonderful city, state, country or globe. It is a...
globe.
Yeah, could be worldwide.
Absolutely.
Tuning in on the Facebook Live here, of course, on Bar TV, and the Country Rugby League representative season rolls on. We're into round 3 here now of the Andrew Johns Cup and the Laurie Daily Cup, and we are at Campbelltown Sports Stadium, as you said, Curtis.
So some results so far from the first couple of rounds of the Andrew Johns Cup. The West Tigers, they've been unlucky in a couple of defeats. Round 1, they went down to Riverina 16-4, and in round 2, they dropped that one to Monaro 16-12. That was on the road. While the Penrith Panthers, round 1, they lost to the Western Rams, who are very strong, of course, as we know. They went down 14-12 in another close one, and unfortunately, fortunately for the Panthers last week, they put the cleaners through St George, Illawarra, South Coast, 40 points to 4. So far on the ladder, from what we've seen in the first 2 rounds, Penrith, they sit mid-table in third, 1-1, with a 4 against of 52-18. And the West Tigers, they're dead last, they're 0-2, and they're 4 against 16-32.
I can tell you with the Panthers, Curtis, I did watch that first game against the Western Rams, who you said are extremely strong, and you're correct there. It was a very good game. Penrith had their chances late in that game to take that, steal that one, and they just couldn't get across the line in those last couple of minutes. So that will augur them well, especially after that good win last week, to come out here and take on the Tigers team.
And we'll go through the teams named earlier this week. West Tigers, Andrew Johns Cup, game 1, as we mentioned. Braden Wicky's the fullback. Timmer and Gamrawi are on the wings. James Muller and Jack Howard in the centres. James Davey, Lachlan Davies is the 7. He's the captain. And we'll get some team changes through in a second, and Cam will look after that for us. Chris Sydenham and Lolini in the front row. Tobin Eads, the hooker. And the back row is Critchlow, Tavui, and Logai Luciano. The bench, Harris, Smith, Bridge, Carlisle, and we've got 18, 19, 20, Redmond, Eisenhuth, and Quiros Mapasua.
I can just update you there, Curtis, that the 15 and 16 Smith and Bridge are out.
Yep.
So the bench will be 17 Carlisle, 18 Redmond, 19 Eisenhuth, and 14 Harris.
Okay, so Quiros Mapasua from Campbelltown City drops off as well. The coach is Nathan Lakeman, and I'll quickly do Penrith, and then you can give us the changes there too, Cam.
Yep, only changes the 18 is out, mate.
Okay, so the 18
1 through 17 is named.
Yep. Penrith 1 through 17. Tariqi's the fullback. Hardman and Hudson are on the wings. Elisara and Sidatame Hansen are in the centres. Hansen and Bunting, they're the halves, and Bunting is the captain. And the front row is Squire, Chapman, and Takai. And the back row is Hassett, Stacker, Patea, and the bench is Demon Ueli. You argued pre-game about how we're going to pronounce that? Demon Ueli.
Yep, that's it.
Pamali, Newland, and the 17 is Leighton Taitua. They're coached by David McKinnon. And we're just waiting for the players to take the field now. Referees out there with the touch judges, and the Penrith 18s, they've got a guard of honour as well.
Yeah, referee for today's game from the New South Wales Rugby League is Seamus Carroll. Touch judges Jack McGrath and Eleanor Drury.
And how good are these sponsors? Major sponsor, SLE Worldwide, and obviously thank you to them, the major sponsor, and also partner of this broadcast through Bar TV on the Country Rugby League Facebook page is Anytime Fitness. West Tigers taking the field now in their predominantly orange strip, which you can see through our pictures. I've got to remind myself, Cam, that we aren't on the radio today, so...
No, we are on television, so you have to be a little bit more accurate today.
Cam, this is a true rivalry.
Absolutely.
In a sense, because when you think about it, Warragamba is, 30-minute drive to Penrith. It's probably a 40-minute drive back to Campbelltown. They do play in the Group 6 competition, but they're right on the border of Penrith there in the Wollondilly Shire. So it really is a rivalry, this one today.
Oh, absolutely. And we know how strong Penrith can be in the Junior Rugby League. They have many levels of that Junior Rugby League, and these boys have been very impressive over the first 2 rounds. So, again, this promises to be a real good game. Hopefully the Tigers are up for the challenge. They've had a struggling and a little bit of a difficult start to the season, but I'm sure they'll be up for it. And it looks like the Panthers will run from right to left on your television screen as the boys shake hands and get ready to go to battle.
All right, so West Tigers, they'll kick off. And I guess they're running, for a lot of them, running towards home to the southern region. And players right across the districts, East Campbelltown, through Appin, Campbelltown Warriors, Eagles, Norellan, Filmy, Tamor, and of course Mount Annan. So they're right across the shop, representing Campbelltown and the Group 6 region. And hopefully, for their fans who are watching through Facebook today, they get a victory, their first of the season. And it will be Lachlan Davies, the skipper from East Campbelltown, to do so. And hopefully we get a good game of football for both sides, and good luck to both teams and their fans, wherever you are watching through the Facebook page on Country Rugby League. And we're away, and it's going to be brought back for the Panthers, who will have first touch of the ball, and it's good first contact too. And it's Pattaya, the 13, I think, who's had the first run back. And it's good, strong defence from the West Tigers to kick this one off. And it's a little bit different here, Cam. We're not in the commentary box. We're actually out in the open, right next to
fresh air, and never does anybody any harm.
We'll work with that. New experiences, Cam.
Big Sam Squire taking a hit up early on, getting his hands on the ball.
Centre field now, and tipping it on is Tariki, the one. Gets an early touch, and they're centre field now, just before halfway. Penrith in their famous black strip, and he kicks. Not the deepest kick, but it takes a wicked bounce. It's going to be picked up by Penrith. And it is now the last tackle. So the early kick, and now they're going to play the ball on the last 15 away. Away to the right-hand side it goes, and that's the 9 who kicks it, and that's Chapman. Not much doing. It was a poor kick in the end, but they did have numbers on the right. Luckily enough for the West Tigers, they survive and bring it away.
Good start from the Panthers. They are dangerous, but they will give away a penalty to Eager in defence there, trying to get up into the faces of these West Tigers. They give away an inside the 10 penalty, a nice relieving penalty for the Tigers. They will come out of their own end, so they'll take a tap there from almost the centre of the 20-metre line to get things underway in this next set of 6, and the big front rower takes a rumble up, gets up over outside the 20, about 25 out from his own line. Yeah,
that'll be frustrating for Penrith coach David McKinnon. They did all the hard work. They made 100 metres on their first set, and they give away an offside penalty on the
pinned
first.
The Tigers on their line, had them under all sorts of pressure, just a little bit eager.
30-minute halves in the Andrew Johns Cup, and we've had 2 minutes of play, and coming back on the angle. Good run, that one. And that's to Vui from the Gilburn RSL. Almost called them the Burners then. They're the Tigers now. And he's going to play the ball centre field. Away to the left they go, through the halfback and the captain in Davies. And good defence there from Penrith, as you'd expect. So much depth in that Penrith comp, Cam.
Yeah, their juniors go on forever, don't they, Curtis? They've got no end of wealth as they do a second man play.
Yep. They're down the left-hand side, the West Tigers. And that's a good little break there from the 5 in Gamrawi from Mount Annan. The Knights, last tackle, hand in the air from the referee. They come back centre field. And that's Davies, and he kicks through for the in goal. It might be a little bit too deep, but good start. Promising stuff from both sides to start this one.
Yeah, again, they've gone 80 metres from their penalty that they had just outside their 20. They've gone down. Nice little second man move down that left-hand side. Again, set up by Davies, their captain. And that gave Timmer, it is, on the left wing a chance to score in the corner. He wasn't quite good enough. They swung it back, turned it over, and now Penrith, they will get a 7-tackle set coming out of their own end.
So they start this new set of 6. Again, it's through Bunting. Shifts it down to the left-hand side. Both halves. Obviously the skippers for both teams too, and
having watched
dominant with the ball early.
Having watched these guys earlier, he's a player to watch on this left centre for the Penrith Panthers. Uale El Sara, very, very talented player, along with their fullback Tareki. Ones to watch as this game progresses.
Takai plays the ball there. They go back to the centre field again, through Bunting, calling the shots there. Young Tyler, the 7, back to Bunting it goes, and he's going to kick now for the corner. And another wicked bounce. Have a look at that. But this time, the second bounce is nice to the fullback down there for the West Tigers in Braden Wiki. And he plays it, and they come across to the left-hand side. Curtis Wood and Cam Hickson with you, streaming via Bar TV on the Country Rugby League Facebook page. Thanks for watching. And back through the middle they go now. Centres the ball. And he'll play it now. The dummy half is Eade. Short ball straight. In fact, he goes himself, Eade.
Yeah, good run. Put his head down, found a little bit of a gap in that A defender hole, put his head down and went, made 15 or 20.
Back to the left-hand side they go. Davies, dummies, goes himself, and it's good to see for the young halfback. Good to see any young halfback taking on the line so early. that will keep Penrith on their toes throughout this one. The kick now, well, I think it's a Falcon. Back into the hands of the 6.
6 more.
Davey, and we've got another set of 6 coming up. And the West Tigers now pressing, looking for first point. Straight through the middle they go, and that's the lock forward in Laurie Luciano. And the referee's going to say...
got an injury. We've got an injury just up near halfway there. It looks like the front rower for the Penrith side. And Sam Squire looks like he's down. So the referee just stopping it to make sure everything's okay. Got the call from the trainer. Just asking him to stop the game, so they will stop the game for a moment with the West Tigers right on the attack. They are under the black dot at the Leagues Club end of the ground. A couple of tackles up their sleeve after that reset in the tackle count. After it was James Davey with a, looked like a little chip and chase that was knocked down by one of the Panthers. He got it back, and they will get 6 more.
Interesting to see in that first 5 minutes, and it's good to see the 8 getting back to his feet. Squire is going to take his place in the defensive line. The West Tigers look like they're going to go through the middle, and Penrith are going to shift it left, right, and go back to the middle and hit one of those sides again through their halfback.
Penrith at the moment are just trying to play that field position game. They're trying to get a bit of dominance, but at the moment the Tigers are doing enough from dummy half.
Yeah, and that's the hooker again. And
Tobin Eade trying to sneak over.
He's going to say that the...
Shepherd, he ran around. Yep, he was running around an obstruction using his man playing the ball to try and crash over the line, which you're not allowed to do.
What else would you expect from a cheeky little dummy half?
Especially that close to the line, you've always got to expect that the dummy half is going to have a crack, especially early in the tackle count, have a crack on his own to try and burrow his way over.
All thanks to SLE Worldwide Australia, major sponsor of the Andrew Johns and Laurie Daily Cups. Double header coming up here on the Facebook page for CRL. And that game coming up straight after this one. And you'll hear all of it with us, Curtis Wood and Cam Hickson, as Penrith go back on the attack now. Centre field, 35 away from their own line. They go to the right-hand side and hitting a straight line on the right-hand side is the 4 in Hanson. And West Tigers eventually drag him to ground on the eastern side of the field. Plays it back now. And they're going to centre it again, like we said, Cam. They do shift. They'll shift the pass, but they'll go back to the centre, like you said, and they're going to try to break West Tigers down, I think. Turns it back in, away to the prop. That's the 10 in tackle, and that's last tackle now, and the referee points to the skies. Back to the left. Surprise, surprise, it's Bunting, the 7, and he's hit late in the tackle, back to his feet, and it's high. It's a good kick, and I think it's knocked back off the shoulder of Penrith, but picked up by West Tigers.
Yeah, it was playing on. Just a midfield bomb there from Taylor Bunting, trying to make something happen, maybe get a repeat set. But early on, you can see the structures between the two teams. The Penrith Panthers are playing with a lot of structure. They're working up the middle. They're playing under balls for their big men coming onto it. The West Tigers playing much more ad-lib football and keeping this Penrith team moving around. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out as this first half progresses.
Goes to Tavui, another Ingleburn RSL representative. And he's going to play the ball 40 away from the Penrith line. No score after 7 minutes of play. Flat ball at the line. There's a good pass there from Laurie Luciano. And they're pressing here, West Tigers. Last tackle. Eade hits the left-hand side. Away to the captain, Davies. Dinking kick. It's touched by Penrith. And eventually he gets back to get it. That's the centre on the opposite side of the field. This has been a pretty good start to this game.
It has been. It's been a very good, as we said, the West Tigers, they're not afraid to throw it around and try and match it with the Penrith Panthers, but they've got to hang in there. And you just feel that if they make a few mistakes or they start to give away a few penalties, that the Penrith team, with their structure and the way they're working forward, may run over the top of them. But they're hanging in there, the Tigers, for the moment. And we've got a really good ball game through this first 10 minutes, still 0-all.
Jesse Hudson, the 5, takes it forward. Good run from him. And the West Tigers just looking at them defensively as Bunting goes short with a tip pass. West Tigers struggling to get back now with the referee. You can see a lot of them turning their backs, which isn't a good sign.
This kick out of dummy half from the number 9 from the Panthers, Chapman. He was trying to drive it deep outside of the boot and scooped up out on that wide side by Braden Timmer. He'll be tackled about 35 out from his own line. Yeah,
and he hails from the Appin Club. The Appin Dogs, as they're now known. They used to be the Appin Warriors many moons ago. And a pretty strong club back in their day as well. They made a couple of finals in the A-grade competition as another time off, as another player down. And they took a couple of plays there to realise there was a Penrith player in the defensive line down.
I think the referee was just giving them as much time as he could till that player became part of the defensive line. They was trying to let the West Tigers get on with it, and they're going to take it to the fullback for the Penrith side, Malachi Terecki. You can just take him behind the line, make sure he's okay. Trainer says yes, thank you to the referee, and the referee's ready to get back underway.
So they go to the right, away to the lock forward. And again, he's got a nice little passing game there, Logai Luciano. And he turns that one back inside to his teammate, the 10 in Lolini. Back to the left, Davies, very busy, the halfback, short ball at the line. And Penrith come across and make the tackle. Over the top there was the 12 in Stacker. Quick play of the ball, 20 away from the line. It's a poor pass, it's on the ground. And eventually getting back there is Davey. And that's a nothing kick. That was a poor set of 6 there from the West Tigers. And Penrith, they'll bring it away, 10 away from their own try line.
Yeah, they're showing their hand that they want to go down that left side of their own attack, the right side of the Panthers' defence. But the Panthers have got all the answers at the moment. They're holding them at bay. And again, we've seen some poor ends of 6 to some of these sets. But the boys are just working into the game at the moment. And it'll open up a little bit once the bigger men in the middle start to get a little bit more fatigued.
Just looking through the competition this year, Cam. Good to see the Canterbury Bulldogs, of course, now in partnership with the North Coast. They're in the competition. The Gold Coast Titans through the Northern Rivers Titans. As the kick goes down, it's good to see this competition going from strength to strength. And
it's a great pathway for these young men to be able to work their way, whether it is into SG ball teams, Jersey flag teams, or even that next step up and representing at the under-20s level in that elite competition. But it's a great pathway system set up by Country Rugby League to give these boys a chance to represent their localities and their local communities.
And that's a great run from the 7 who went into dummy half. Davies, the captain. It's probably been the West Tigers' best so far as it goes back inside on the angle through Masai Tavui. Gets the pass away, and I think he's lost it.
Knock on, first mistake.
And that was Logai Luciano. Wasn't expecting it. Probably had his eyes on the next play. And he's lost the ball, and Penrith will have a scrum centre field just before the halfway.
The first real error we've seen of the game in terms of turning it over early in your tackle count. Let's see whether the Penrith Panthers put something on. They've played fairly structured so far. They've been looking for field position, been trying to work it down into the West Tigers end and then pin them down there. But now with the scrum feed about 3 metres on their own side of halfway, are we going to see something a little bit more expansive from this Panthers team that racked up 40 points on the St George Illawarra team from last week?
It's a pretty big day of football out here as well. And obviously you want to stay with us and watch on Facebook these first 2 games. Then if you're in the area, come down and watch the Magpies later today.
Well, come down and bring your screens and
watch. Watching it. They need the numbers on Facebook, mate.
You can still watch it on Facebook while you're here and listen to the commentary whilst you're here at the ground, Curtis.
Of course you can. And Penrith now back to the right-hand side, flick pass, and the 6, he dummies to nobody. How good's that? And he's still away down the right-hand side. How did they fall for that, the West Tigers? That was amazing. Luke Hansen dummied to the crowd.
Dummied to the
West
touch
Tigers
judge.
took it. Now they're 10 away. Away to the left-hand side they go. Through the 17 in Tautua, and he's almost there himself, the big fella. He's almost over the line. How good was that from
Numbers
the 6?
Dummy
half play.
Play on.
Lost it. Great defence from West Tigers. I still can't believe he dummied to the sideline. There was no one there, and the West Tigers fell for it. He was away for 20 metres.
I also think they thought that the touch judge on the far side was going to get involved, Curtis.
That was brilliant.
Jack McGrath out there on the far touchline. He was lining up to maybe go over in the corner himself there if
I'm happy with that.
If Luke Hansen had thrown in the ball.
So the kick for touch now after the penalty to Lachlan Davies from East Campbelltown. A very powerful club out this way in the Sydney Shield. And obviously got ties with the Western Suburbs Magpies as well.
Champions last year in the Sydney Shield.
Yes.
East Campbelltown.
Minor premiers and premiers. They put a lot of work into their juniors, and obviously you talk about pathways and chances for kids. You'll find a lot of kids ending up at East Campbelltown in their late teens because of that chance to get through the Magpies and the Dreamies West Tigers NRL. So
well, worst case you can have a run at first grade at East Campbelltown if you're good enough, and then from there you will get seen in the Sydney Shield and the Massey Cup, etc. And you're a chance of being picked up in one of those, maybe even the in-trust Super Premiership teams.
Well, everything's streamed these days. Case in point, what we're calling here today, but scouts everywhere, and you're only one good game away from getting a phone call.
Correct.
And that's the 7-yard Davies, the captain.
Good
green headgear.
Good defence from the big men from Penrith.
Yeah, I think they've realised now, Penrith, that he's their go-to.
Tack
showing a little bit more
driving.
attention there. Away to the right-hand side. He's been fullback, quite the fullback wiki. And now we're going to knock on this right-hand side, and that was the hooker, the winger, Timmer.
Yeah, Timmer around on this side of the field. He started on the left wing. He's now been moved into right centre as some changes have happened for the West Tigers. So he's come across onto this side of the field and just reaching behind him and knocking that one on. Easy decision for referee Carroll to make.
Just trying to work out who has shifted out to that left-hand side.
We'll get you that number, Curtis, when he moves up in defence in a moment for you.
Scrum, Penrith ball. 16 to go first half, still no score, and we expected this one to be pretty close. Looking at the results so far in the Andrew Johns Cup, a couple of tight defeats for West Tigers and the Penrith with one victory so far. Way to the right, they do have numbers out here. Streaking away is Jesse Hudson. He's brought down from behind, gets it back inside to his teammate in Hanson, who started the play. And Penrith now, they're starting to make some metres. Through the centre they go, centering play through Pataya. And he's going to play the ball centre field, 21 away, northern end of Campbelltown Stadium. They go to the left, Bunting to 7, dummies to 1. Beautiful pass to the outside, away to Hardiman. He'll be hard to beat, and he scores in the corner. And there are the first points, and we were just saying they were starting to break the West Tigers down, and it was very interesting to see Bunting. He kind of slowed down with the ball then sped up the play like all good halfbacks do, and it kind of just threw West Tigers off. And a beautiful pass to the outside, cut out one, and the first try of the morning goes to Kanan Hardman, and it is 4-0 kick to come with a kick from out wide for the Panthers.
Yeah, good play that by the halfback Taylor Bunting, and Tyler Bunting, he just did the right thing as the halfback should do. He sort of, once he caught that ball, he sort of had a look up at the line and worked out what was going on. And as you said, Curtis, just that slowing down, that slight pause, it attracted that one extra defender, and that was all he needed to put that beautiful pass onto the chest of Kanan Hardiman. And nobody was going to catch him once he caught it. It was going over in the corner, and he goes over for the first try to give the Panthers a 4-0 lead. And again, comes on the back of a little bit of extra ball for the Panthers. We said that they were, a very good attacking team, and they were playing with a lot of structure early. Now they are starting to put the Tigers to the sword, and if the Tigers don't bounce straight back, this one could start to go a little bit one-sided.
Shot for Bunting. He's a metre in from touch. He's taken it back 20.
This is another part of the game that's improved out of sight. It's all these boys, you say that, the 20 by 20 metre kick is one of the hardest kicks in the league. As I said, these boys have practiced it time after time. We'll see how Bunting goes with this kick.
Well, you know how to get to Carnegie Hall, Cam. Practice.
That's it.
So this to make it 6-0, and we'll touch in a second. We'll talk about this Penrith attacker in a moment. Moves in, strikes it, and it's going away to the right. No goal, and it's short too. So 4-0 the score remains. 14 to go in the first half. Panthers lead West Tigers, and we have emphasised the way Penrith have attacked compared to West Tigers. Penrith are going through the middle. They're hitting one side, then they're going back to the middle, hitting one side, going back to the middle. And we've seen in the last 5 minutes, they've made a couple of breaks on the other side of the field, and then they score on this side. It's been perfect football from the Panthers.
Well, you have a look at what the Roosters did in the NRL last year. They did that same sort of thing. They'll work to one side, work to the middle, work to the other side, and then set up a play to the large open side. So Penrith are working very much to a structure. And we said that early on, we identified that early on. They are sticking with that structure, and at the moment, it's starting to break down the ad-lib play of the West Tigers, who are about 2 yards offside from the kickoff.
That's just concentration, Cam. That's ordinary.
Yep, and referee Carroll having no hesitation in penalising them at the middle of the halfway, and this is now immense pressure time for the Tigers. They've just given up a try. They've hung in really well for that first 15, 16 minutes. They've really hung in well. Now they give up a try, now they give up a penalty, and they really are going to have backs to the walls for this next 5 minutes, but they haven't found touch, the Panthers. Error on top of error.
Football, and he misses the kick for the sideline, Bunting, and he's not happy. And he took about a metre there on halfway too and didn't kick it on the mark. Now we're going to knock on. Well, it's been good footy so far, but the last 30 seconds, I think we can just delete everything we just saw, as the scrum will go down for Penrith, and unfortunately for West Tigers, more pressure coming.
It's amazing how once that fatigue starts to set in a little bit, how we make silly little mistakes. I said the West Tigers, again, as you said, from the kickoff, just a fatigue, just a lack of concentration error, and then Penrith backed that up with a lack of concentration error, not finding touch, and then the Tigers hand it straight back to them. So Penrith on the attack. They're 20 out from the Tigers line.
Yeah, it's streaming on the CRL Facebook page via Bar TV. Away to the right they go, and look at the speed now Penrith are playing at. They've upped the tempo.
Calling players underneath them, working out all those little structure plays.
Back to the centre they go through Patea, the 13. And they wrestle on the ground right under the sticks, 2 metres away from the northern try line. Back to the left, Bunting, they've got to watch him. Dummies, goes himself. Great vision there. He saw that his teammate was overran it and he held the pass.
And didn't run behind him. 2 important things.
Looping pass out there to the 6 in Hansen.
Watch his feet. Lightning-like feet.
And they'll be hard-pressed to keep them out here, I think, West Tigers. Last tackle, though, they've done pretty well. Away to Bunting. Can they get a repeat set? He's going to kick for himself. That's the first, I think, error in his game we've seen Bunting. He kicked for himself then when he had players on the outside. Yeah. Went straight into the hands of the West Tigers fullback and relieves all the pressure. Something
he'll learn as he progresses through his football journey is just a heads up, have a look, see where the fullback was positioning himself. That time, as you said, he caught it and thought, I'll kick for myself, but the fullback was just shadowing him across the field and was Johnny on the spot to pick it up and get out of there in a hurry, Braden Wiki. But on that occasion, the grubber kick should have been out to the sides of the posts or aiming maybe for a goal post to try and shake things up a little bit for the Panthers. But the Tigers working it out from their own line now, 30 out from their own try line.
And this stream, as we just touched on, through the CRL Facebook page and brought to you by the major sponsor. We've got that's out in the full, I think.
No, it's sweet.
No, it's good. And it's going to be picked up by the Penrith fullback in Tariki.
Wasn't far away from a 40-20, to be honest, either.
And that's SLE Worldwide Australia, the major sponsor. And the partner, Anytime Fitness Cam, there might be a couple of free memberships in that for us, and I think we need a couple.
What's any better than Anytime Fitness? Because you can just get there whenever it's the most convenient for you. It doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Anytime Fitness is available for you.
Some toxins to sweat out, I'm sure, Cam.
Always.
Penrith almost up to halfway now, and it's still only 4-0. West Tigers will be pretty happy to get to half-time.
Oh, absolutely.
At 4-0.
But the threats all the time here from this Panthers team.
Yeah, and he pushes the pass there, the 6 in Luke Hansen. I think we've got a knock on. So Penrith getting a little bit excited there. They had the numbers on the right-hand side, and West Tigers desperately got across. But we did touch on it before. Penrith, they're playing with a tempo where their halves, they can up the tempo or they can slow it down again.
Well, they're a yard
faster. When they need to, they're hitting to the outside and making West Tigers pay.
They're a yard faster than the Tigers at the moment, but they've got to just still play with that control and that structure. It's fine to play the ad-lib football, but it's not if you're not used to it.
Curtis Woodward and Cam Hickson, live from Campbelltown Stadium. 2 games today, and the Laurie Daily Cup coming up after this one. West Tigers and Penrith, and as we said before, they are rivals up the Northern Road. It's only not that far away really these days. With you got the the M4 as well, M7. Which one is it? M7. I don't drive, Mike. Mike Sheen's get the ground announcer saying 7. I don't drive, mate. West Tigers up to the 30, and they hit it through that left-hand side offload. Oh, we've got another knock on. Forced play, forced pass there from the 8.
The defenders,
and that was Sydenham. And he got the pass away, and I think it was 6, James Davey, who spilt the ball. And the game's gone into a bit of a lull here, and West Tigers, as we said, I think they're ready for oranges.
Well, they are looking for half-time. They'll be great if they could get to half-time only 4 down. There's still 8.5 minutes left on the clock here in this first half, where the Panthers lead the Tigers 4-0 here in the Andrew Johns Cup. The Country Rugby League representative season for these boys into round number 3.
Just shows the depth too, Cam, as we said off air beforehand. The Penrith top squads are playing in Ball and Mats.
Yep, Matthews and Ball and Flegg all getting ready to roll.
Squad
yep,
out here and always very competitive, and they're such a strong nursery of football. I think I was saying on social media that 2007 compared to now, they've actually gone up by 150 odd numbers. Compared to other regions,
like I say, not many junior leagues. Yeah, not many junior leagues can say that. Their own junior league has stood tall and increased.
Away to
Elisara down this side.
Yep, and he's going to play the ball. They go back to the middle. Bunting, very impressed by both halfbacks of both teams, but particularly Bunting, the 7 for the Panthers. He's had some half. It goes back to him now. Kicks, and it's going to hold up. Penrith are going to have a go at it. It's knocked on. And the referee's going to say offside.
A couple of the forwards in front of Bunting when he kicked it, they didn't retreat outside of the 10. So the referee quite rightly penalising those Panthers players. The Tigers will get a relieving penalty to come out of their own end. One little thing I have noticed, Curtis, is that Bunting seems to be playing pretty much predominantly on this left side for the Panthers.
Exclusively.
And Luke Hanson looks like he's running the right side of the Panthers' attack. So that's something that they can maybe work on if they go a little bit deeper into this competition, is to switching them up, getting Bunting on both sides of the field and maybe linking up with young Hanson on the far side.
Yep, and if any of these players impress enough, they will eventually get picked in the under-16-18 representative country sides that will tour later in 2019. So
Much
as we
more
said,
incentive,
there's
yep.
always someone watching, and there's
Correct.
always another step in your career. So even at 16, yeah.
Well, at 16, it's basically the time to put your hand up and say, pick me. Put those efforts on the field, get yourself noticed, and who knows where you may end up.
Well, the West Tigers got a rare chance to start a set of 6 inside the Panthers' 30. Be remarkable if they go to half-time all square or even with the lead.
In front. Yep.
Away to the 13.
Oh, big hit.
That's a big
hit. A little
hit.
bit high, though. Over the top, the 15.
That's 19, actually. Eisenhuth from Mount Annan. And the tap's going to be taken now. And another run for Eisenhuth. And Christopher's, he's going to get buckled back in the tackle. 7 metres away from the try line, 5 metres to the right of the post. And he's a big lump of a lad too, the 17. I shouldn't throw stones, but he's a big boy. Emmett Carlisle plays the ball back a metre away. Back to the left-hand side they go. Flat ball at the line. This is nice from the West Tigers. Early kick from Davies. They're coming through quickly. I think he's got there, has he?
No, it went dead.
Oh, flashbacks of Michael Jennings' 2013 NRL Grand Final. But he says he's planted it on the dead ball line. Very unlucky, because if it just held up, that would have been try time for the West Tigers.
Yeah, it needed that one extra roll. It needed it to bounce up on the end of the football, and it would have been try time for the Tigers. And as you said, they would have either gone in level or in front, which would have been a massive turnaround in this game. But the Panthers now, they will get out of their own end. They'll get a 7-tackle set, and they'll work it away from their own end. Tackle now 40 out. The big number 17. That's Tatua. He is just driving those legs to get up towards halfway.
Yeah, and he used that arm around the ball as a bit of a battering ram, and a couple of West Tigers boys did not enjoy that.
The old bumper bars, get the bumpers up.
Bunting with the early kick, turns around.
Good kick too, right into
West
the corner.
Tigers. And second best result, I guess, from trapping West Tigers down in the corner is finding the line. And again,
probably
Bunting just controlling the game.
Yeah, probably a good result for the Panthers. They'll get a bit of a breather. They'll get down to this scrum. They get a little bit of a rest here with this last 4.5 minutes on the clock going into half-time. Give themselves a little bit of a rest, maybe muscle up in one set of defence here, try to force an error out of the Tigers and get this last set of 6 maybe at the Tigers here in this first half.
And the Panthers, they look like they're just playing within themselves a little bit.
Staying structured, staying controlled, aren't they? They're not letting anything get too loose and get out of their control at the moment.
Davies, the 7, away from the scrum, standing out at 6 that time. And the West Tigers now, they're a little bit slow to get back, and look how flat they are. You can see that through our stream on the Country Rugby League Facebook page. And away to the right they go, and that's Eisenhuth, the 19. 3 defenders in there, and that's Bunting, the last one up, the 7, so he's getting through his defence as well. And it is all a little bit flat here for the West Tigers. It hit hard in the tackle. There is Timmer, the 2.
Take over the top, the big prop rower for Penrith.
Jake Harris is out there now from the Thelmere Tarmore Roosters. And they play it back now. A couple of plays left in this set of 6. Davies again at second receiver. Short ball at the line away to Emmett Carlisle. He's been busy since he's come on. Carlisle. Last tackle now. Hand in the air from the referee. The kick's going to come down the field from the fullback. It was in Wiki. Not much doing there. Picked up easily by Tauriki. He brings it back to his 20. Beats 1. They come and make the tackle now. Another one, Cam, that I've been impressed with from the West Tigers side is their 13 in Logai Luciano from East Campbelltown. He's
done a lot of work. He's been very good in defence too. He's not afraid to shirk his work in defence. One little mistake, but you can't worry about that too much in these games. You're going to make mistakes from time to time, but doing a mountain of work for the West Tigers.
3 minutes to play first half. Andrew Johns Cup, game 1 of 2. West Tigers and the Panthers in the Laurie Daily Cup coming up after this one. Referee's called held, and he's offloaded the ball.
He was struggling. He had 4 people on him. He was still struggling to get his hands free and offload, which he eventually did, but too late. The referee called held.
And the referee didn't like the blade of grass he played it on, so put him back. half an inch.
Bunting wrapped up. Good tackle there from the West Tigers.
Last tackle. Away to the 6. And the kick comes from Luke Hanson. And it's going to be taken on the full, on the opposite side of the field by the West Tigers.
Out there on that side now, playing out that side is Jack Howe for the Tigers, playing on the left wing. Was named in the centres originally, but he's now out on that left wing.
Geez, the West Tigers, though, we have emphasised how good Penrith have been in their tempo, but it is only 4-0, and the West Tigers, they're gutsy, they hang in there, and they're not scared to play a bit of football either.
No, that they are throwing the ball around, as we said earlier, playing a little bit more ad lib than the Panthers, but definitely hanging in. Now that they've had a bit of an injection of their bench players, and we see this one now taking it up. I think that might be the 17, Carlisle taking it up, and they've actually had a bit of a lift from their bench players, which is what you need, as we now see them kicking down into the corners.
Good kick too.
And Tareki will pick it up about a metre out from his own line. Oh, picked up and upended in a big, strong tackle.
That was spicy. Number 5, Gamrawi. That was a good tackle, and good work there too from the 6 in James Davies, who turned Penrith around and said, look, let's play down there and get to half-time. And a big run here from the 3, and that's Elisara. Plays it back. He's left one West Tiger in his wake. As they come back over the 40, and it'll be heartbreak for West Tigers if Penrith jag one here.
But they're finishing hard, aren't they? They're still running hard with a minute left before half-time, the Panthers, but they're going to kick it away.
Bunting again turns around Wiki. Another bad bounce for Wiki. He's had a nightmare first half. He's been fine himself personally, but some of these bounces he got, particularly in the first 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, he hasn't made any mistakes down there at the fullback position. Braden Wickey's actually been very good positionally. He's made sure every time the Panthers have been down close to their line, he's been in a very good position to diffuse things. But as you say, he's copped a couple of horror bounces from the rugby league ball, which can do that to you from time to time, but has been very solid at the back for the Tigers. As we've got 30 seconds to half-time here, it's 4-0 the Panthers over the Tigers in the Andrew Johns Cup.
Yeah, just looking at, as Davies puts a poor pass behind his teammate, just looking at the West Tigers halves, Davies and Davey, they've definitely switched. And oh no, have a look at this. He's offloaded it over to the West Tigers.
Oh, look out.
Gets the pass away. Penrith are going to score. That's incredible. Try to the Panthers.
Jesse Hudson.
Right on half time. And the West Tigers, they just needed to go to ground, take the tackle. And he's offloaded. I didn't pick up that number there. I don't know if you did, Cam, but the West Tigers, they forced the pass, taken out of the air by the Panthers and scoring in the corner across there. I think it was Jesse Hudson, the 5.
Yeah, Jesse Hudson over for the try in the far corner.
How about that?
Yeah, bad piece of play when you're down in your own 20-metre line with about 30 seconds on the clock. Just get to half-time. You've done so well for 29 and a half minutes. You just needed to just control the ball, just one out to half-time, get to half-time and reassess and reset. And to try and be forcing a pass that close to your line with that little time on the clock is just unforgivable.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that part of the field there, that 5 metres, Cam, is haunted. Something's happening over there. That's the Bermuda Triangle. We saw it earlier in the game, the Penrith, I can't remember which player it was, but he dummied into the crowd and everyone stopped from West Tigers.
That was their 5'8".
Made a 30-metre break down the field.
Luke Hanson.
Right on the stroke of half-time. We haven't heard the siren yet. Mike Sheen doesn't know what he's doing. The ground announcer, I think it's his first time.
He's looking for the siren app. He's looking for somebody in the crowd that can maybe do it for him.
And then the Phantom Siren. Remember him?
We do remember the Phantom Siren.
Just make it, Mike, do it with your hands. Just through the microphone. So half-time here.
He may just be waiting for the kicker. There's going to be no further play. He doesn't want to put the kicker off by blowing the siren before he kicks it. So
fair enough. And it will be Tyler Bunting, the skipper. And that'll be hard to take for West Tigers.
Struggled a little bit with distance on his last kick, which is a very similar distance. Hasn't taken it back quite as far this time. Only taken it back about 19.5 metres as opposed to the 22 metres last time, but similar sort of angle, just the opposite side of the field. He's on that eastern side of Campbelltown Sports Park.
And 7. Tyler Bunting to make it 10-0 at half-time. We all thought it would be 4-0. And the West Tigers, they had possession.
Should have been 4-0.
And it was confirmation Jesse Hudson, the 5, that scored the try for the Panthers. And now the captain to take the Panthers to half-time at 10-0. He's taken his time. Why not? Moves in now. Strikes it. He's put everything into it.
It's a chance.
And he's missed it away to the left. No goal. And the score remains at half-time. There it is. There's the siren. 8-0 Penrith lead the West Tigers. Your quick thoughts, Cam, about 15 seconds worth, and then we'll take a break.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very disheartening for the Tigers to go in down 2 tries now. They were very gutsy in that first half. They really held the Panthers well. They played a lot of structured football, the Panthers. They were just looking to do the simple things well. They did the simple things well. There wasn't a lot of mistakes in that first half from either team. And to be 8-0 to the good going into the dressing sheds at half-time, I think David McKinnon will be very happy, the Penrith coach. I think Nathan Lakeman will be a little bit disappointed that they gave up that late try.
All right, half-time, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with the second half. You are watching the Andrew Johns Cup live through Bar TV on the Country Rugby League Facebook page. Players coming back for the second half. West Tigers with it all to do. They're down 8-0 at the break. And a try right on half-time for the Panthers out on that opposite side of the field for their 5, Jesse Hudson, when we thought it would be 4-0, and the Panthers scored late. So 8-0, Curtis Wood, Cam Hickson, right through, well, anywhere in the world you can watch through the Country Rugby League Facebook page, all thanks to Bar TV. And how smooth is the camera work from Liam, our old mate. Fox Sports, I know you're watching something. He's happy with that. So Penrith now. Cam, I know there's West Tigers fans and Group 6 fans and family, they're all watching. I'm sure they know that there's some work to do for West Tigers to stay in this game because, as we said, Penrith probably played at about third gear throughout the first half and obviously very well drilled and a lot of the play coming off their 7 bunting.
Oh, absolutely. But Coach Nathan Lakeman for the GSR West Tigers, he's just got to, just keep that sense of belief in his players because they were in that first half for probably 27, 28 minutes. It was that last sort of minute that they really got tired and really made some bad decisions. So he's just got to lift them up and keep them in it. You know this Penrith team is well coached. David McKinnon will just keep their structures. They'll just keep rolling forward, just keep doing what they've been doing. And they will try and just roll over the top of the West Tigers. But interesting to see whether or not the West Tigers can mount something early in this second half and get themselves back in the game, get themselves a little bit of belief. That's all they need, that little bit of confidence and belief. As referee Carroll blows time on for the second half here in the Andrew Johns Cup.
Yeah, and the ground bathed in sunshine at the moment. I can promise you it'll be very sticky down there on the field.
Beautiful morning down here.
But we do have some cloud cover right around us. And it usually, around this area in Macarthur, it usually comes up from the south, and there are some dark clouds down Wollongong way. Hopefully they stay away for these 2 games. Laurie Daily Cup coming up after this one. We'll bring you that one too. And if you are watching on the Facebook page, let us know where you're watching from, who you're going for, family members, whatever it is, let us know who they are. And we'll try to get to them a little bit later too. As the West Tigers, first set of 6, second half. Have a look at this, straight through the middle. And it's Jake Harris, the 14, beats the fullback, all ends up. He runs 60 and scores himself. Where did that come from, Cam? Try time,
I think it might be the 18. It might be Charlie Redmond, I think. Jake Harris was wearing headgear, but I think it might be Redmond. That was 14, you are right. Jake Harris, I stand corrected.
Doesn't happen often, Cam.
No, you are right. You're spot on, but great break straight through the middle. Beautiful left foot step to get around the fullback.
That was awesome.
Straight underneath the sticks, and all of a sudden we said they needed a little bit of a spark, a little bit of enthusiasm. Well, there's a fantastic individual solo effort from Harris, and all of a sudden the West Tigers right back in this, kick from in front to make it 8-6, and the Tigers fight back.
There's a bit of Damien Cook about all that, wasn't there? They set a dummy half. He saw half a break through the marker and the 8 defenders, and he beat them and he blew them away and came to the fullback in Tariki and
I just put a beautiful left foot step on him, didn't he? He sort of summed him up and looked like he was going to try and run around him, and then all of a sudden whacked with that left foot step. Around him he went and over for an almost untouched try.
So Davies will put this over to make it 8-6.
You would think. Let's not put the Jonah on him before he kicks it, Curtis.
He's kicking this.
You would think so. He's a fairly talented footballer.
Moves in, the 7, strikes it very nicely, straight over the black dot, and it's 8-6. And the crowd, who are here today, didn't have much to cheer about in the first half, and they get the conversion, 8-6, 3 minutes gone second half. And Penrith, they need to come back out of the sheds. They're still having their Gatorades.
Yeah, absolutely shocked, weren't they? They were absolutely caught napping there in that first set of 6 from half-time, and that should put the alarm bells through the Penrith Panthers side. They should really have to, as you say, they've got to wake up, because all of a sudden now the Tigers have a sense of belief and they will hang in again.
Yeah, and I don't know much about the Penrith coach, David McKinnon, but I dare say he's put the message out. Watch that 14.
Oh, I can imagine there were some strong words probably said in the Penrith huddle behind the line about waking up after half-time, and probably that the first 5 minutes would have been important. One-on-one strip.
Yeah, Eisenhuth, he was concentrating on getting out of the tackle, wriggling and wrestling, and Penrith take the ball, and we've had some kind of start to this second half, and Penrith now with a chance to hit right back. Panthers 1 metre away from the line. They go to the right-hand side. Bunting tips it away, and that's the 17 in Tautua.
He was the one man that came up with the one-on-one strip, setting them up centre field. They're big, wide both sides. They come right.
Bunting hooks up with his 5'8" for the first time today. The first time we've seen it anyway.
Well, we said that we needed them to play on the same side of the field. They've done that. They've addressed that. Now they're stretched left.
Bunting, all pretty flat here for Penrith, and away to the 10 in Takai. And he plays it last tackle now, 8 metres away. They hit West Tigers are very short. They should score in the corner. They do. Try time for Penrith. And it's a double to Hardiman. Referee points to the spot, and it's a hit back for Penrith. And West Tigers, they just couldn't defend. They couldn't get the numbers of that right-hand side, and Penrith, all eyes up football. They saw it, took advantage, try-time Panthers.
But again, we see that structure from the Panthers. They came to the middle of the field through their big man, 17 to Tua. Then they came to this right side for the first time. We saw Bunting and Hansen together on this right side. They drew the Tigers to the right. Then what did they do? They spread it left. They had the numbers to the left. They capitalise on the left, and Hardiman over for the second try, and the Panthers extend their lead to 12 to 6.
What's starting to become a bit of a problem for West Tigers is their outside backs and a bit of communication and
just some errors coming off their own end. And that time it was a one-on-one strip. It was Leighton Tautua, the big man for the Panthers, that came up with that one-on-one strip.
And it was a great run from Eisenhuth from that kick-off return. And he made 20-odd metres. He was fighting with 3 players, and then they dropped off. And
he dropped 2 of them off just through his leg drive and just left him one-on-one with Tautua, who took the opportunity to rip the ball from his grasp, and that changeover never allowed the Tigers to settle again. And as we said, the Panthers drew them to the right and then put them to the sword on the left.
Just a couple of odd little things that have gone against West Tigers today. Just before the break, the offload to nobody, Penrith score, a one-on-one from a kick return after they score some points. It's been a bit of a strange old game of football so far, and Bunting has a chance now, very important kick. Hasn't had much luck with his...
his wingers have all scored in the corner on all occasions. They haven't given him an easy kick at all. And again, he will be right out on that eastern touchline.
Well, he hasn't made the distance on one yet, Cam, so he probably should be only taking this back about 16 to give himself a chance, but...
Try to hook it in, sort of a thirsting kick from about 15 out, you reckon?
He'll probably kick this now. Moves in, the 7.
Much better contact.
He's hit that nicely, and no goal away to the right-hand side.
Yep.
And it stays 12-6. 1 converted try the difference. 6 minutes gone second half. As we see the West Tigers Laurie Daily Cup side warming up at the northern end of the ground. You'll see them on your stream through the Country Rugby League Facebook page in a moment when this kickoff goes down, unless West Tigers are offside from the kickoff again.
Well, they've done that once before today, haven't they? They shouldn't make that mistake twice. Referee Carroll sort of gives them that warning. Says, I've got you once, stay behind the kicker. They do stay behind him, or only just. The big man in the middle was flirting with danger. The big number 17 for the Tigers in Carlisle, but stayed on side, all good.
And that was Hassett who had the first run from the kickoff. And now the Penrith already up to the 40. Not a deep kick. And now offside. So West Tigers, it hasn't been a good passage of play for them. Giving up some easy metres, and now a penalty right on halfway. And Bunting will find touch. Doesn't take too much.
We've seen him also miss touch once today, so not trying to bite off too much, just trying to get things set up for the Panthers to go on the attack, as they do now, 30 out from the Tigers line.
Well, if you're the West Tigers, it's all hands on decks out in these flanks. Because Penrith, they'll hit through the middle and then they'll have a go. They'll target the centres and then try to get on the outside. This is a great run. I think that's the 17 again.
It is.
In Tautua. He's a gun. Back to the right-hand side they go. They've got numbers. Here they come again. It's another try for another winger. Well, it's a double on one side of the field to Hardiman and another one now for Hansen. 2 tries to him, and we just said it. They're going to hit the middle and hit the blind side. And again, the West Tigers, they just weren't up to it.
Beautiful
setup.
They're
not talking to each other.
A beautiful setup that by Tautua, though. He had a massive big run, bumped up, drew about 3 or 4 of them in, and then it was Luke Hansen, the little blonde 5'8" for the Panthers. He summed it up perfectly, came to this near side, the grandstand side here at Campbelltown, the western side, and he summed summed it up beautifully. Realised he had overs numbers, went to the line, sucked in the defenders, and then threw a beautiful ball onto the chest of Jesse Hudson, who went around and scored comfortably for the Panthers. Now they are starting to assert their authority, the Penrith side.
And again, from the Penrith halves, this time it was the 6 in Hansen, just looking up and surveying what was in front of him, and he said, we're going to go now, we're going to hit him now.
He worked it out really well that they were short on this short side, and that if he could get to that to the centre and force the winger to come in to try and wrap him up, that he would have an easy pass to Hudson, and Hudson would have an easy run to the try line. He still had to execute it well, and he did it perfectly. Went to the line, gave the great pass to Hudson, who crashes over to score about 10 metres in from this western sideline.
Easiest kick of the afternoon, or the morning, is it? Still morning?
Still morning, yes.
Easiest kick of the morning for Bunting. He's still only about 7 metres in from touch to make this 18-6. Moves in, and this is on line. Oh, it's a beautiful kick. Straight over the black dot. Great kick from Bunting. And now it is 18-6, 10 minutes gone, second half. And I tell you what, we've only seen about 10 minutes of this 17, Leighton Tautua. But if he keeps going like this, I don't think he's going to be on the bench in the Andrew Johns Cup for much longer for the Panthers.
He's a big boy, isn't he? He rumbles up. He brings in 3 and 4 defenders to bring him down. He's a big, strong boy. And he's creating havoc out there for Penrith at the moment and helping them set up a lot of their attack.
So looking around at this complex, you've got the Lees Club to the southern end. You've got the athletics track, and there's some little A's out there now at the moment. And then you've got the tennis club around to the back. Another break here from the Panthers. That's 15 and Pamali. And the referee wants it back on the mark. It's a great complex. You've got the train line about 30 seconds walk back behind us.
Just to the western side of us, yes. Lost
now
that
we're going to
ball.
knock on. So just when you think Penrith are going to put the afterburners on, West Tigers, they're clinging. But it's a very important passage of play coming up. The next 10 minutes, obviously, at 18-6. You could even say the next couple of sets of 6 go a long way to deciding what happens in the last 20.
This set of 6 has to be good from the West Tigers. They have to show enough to say that they're still interested in winning this game. They've had a hard start to the season with a couple of losses in the first couple of rounds. They really need to show enough now to say that they're going to go with Penrith over this last 20 minutes.
Davies, who, from all reports, copped a knock at the end of the first half, but he seems to be okay. As they start their set of 6, centre field, 35 away from the Panthers line. And the try scorer for the West Tigers in a dummy half, that's Harris.
And
they've turned it over.
That's what they couldn't do. They needed to show Penrith that they were up for this game, and they were really going to come to them in that last 20 minutes. To turn it over really cold and really easily like that pretty much suggests to me that they are just about done.
Curtis Woodward and Cam Hickson through Bar TV on the Country Rugby League Facebook page. Thank you for watching wherever you are, whether you're down Mossvale, Mittagong Way, or Wallachia, St Mary's.
Massive junior rugby league area, St Mary's.
Yes, good club too, actually. The Lees Club, that is.
Yes. Football ground, a football facility
there.
Yeah,
great footy ground too. Yep, absolutely. Caught a game there a couple of years back.
Oh, big run from the 15.
And he's been fantastic.
Look at him drive those legs.
Says, get out of my way. And he palms off about 7 of them. Plays the ball back now. And on the back of that, they've got another big boy coming through in Takai. And let's see what Penrith do here. They've got Bunting very wide of the ruck. And it looks like Hanson's going to go to first receiver.
Massive numbers left for the Panthers. Massive numbers left if they spot it.
The dummy half is Demueli. Away to the left. Hanson. Bunting. Good ball across the line. Away to, I think, who is that?
That should be Elsara out there, I think.
Elsara's got the try, I think. The 3. And that's try time for the Panthers. All too easy. And we saw that coming too. They just couldn't stop the big Panthers, big boppers through the middle. And once they drew them in, it was all too easy. It went from Hanson, Bunting, and across the line to Elsara. Panthers get another one, 22-6 with 17 to play.
Again, it was just that great set up double run by the two big forwards. First up, of course, was Pamali just bumping people out of the way, making 20, 25 metres, sucking in 5 and 6 defenders to have to come after him. That was followed up by a great run by Takai, the big front rower. He just rumbled up and again and took another 4 men to stop him. And by that time, they were stretched to their right, the Tigers' defence. And it was just a case of whether Bunting and Hansen saw it. They did. Hansen went to first receiver on this occasion. Nice pass out to Bunting. Bunting summed it up, worked out that he needed about a 10-metre decent pass out onto the chest of Elisara. And Elisara, he could have given it outside to Hardiman for a treble, but he decided to tuck it under his shoulder and go his own. And he ploughed his way over out there on that eastern side of this ground for the fifth try of the afternoon, or sort of morning, for the Panthers, and one that probably puts this game to rest now with about 15 to go.
Yeah, they've had a red-hot crack, the West Tigers, but floodgates may open here. 22-6, 16 to play. Bunting, he's only a few metres in from touch, and he's still taking it back 20-odd metres. So he's going to have to rely heavily on a sweet strike.
He struck it well from out there last time, and just
his target's okay. It's just been the distance.
Just get to the near side last time. Let's see whether he corrects a little bit. Another good strike, but he's hooked it again, it looks like.
No goal, waved away. Score remains 22 points to 6.
Might be running with a little bit of a breeze curse. It feels up here in the commentary position, though, as though the breeze is coming a little bit from left to right as we look at it on our Country Rugby League Facebook screens. But it can be very deceptive here at Campbelltown. Sometimes gets up into the grandstand and swirls around a little bit. But
don't forget the major sponsor, SLE Worldwide Australia, the partner Anytime Fitness. And, of course, this is all brought to you by the fantastic people at Bar TV Sports. And they're doing great things, Bar TV. I think they're even doing the curling. They do dead set everything. You can find them on Twitter and Facebook as well.
22-6, the Panthers lead the Tigers.
And the kick return, another one, a strong one from Pamali. And the Panthers back to centre field. Away to the left they go. And that's that man Tautua. Another strong run from him. Takes 3 West Tigers to drag him to ground. Out there now, as we touched on before, Bryson Demueli. And an early kick. They've played so smart, the Panthers. And again, being turned around is Wiki, the fullback, who's done very, very well under duress with some very good kicking from Bunting and Hansen. And the West Tigers now, they bring it away through the 5 in Caleb Gemrawi.
Playing very structured, the Panthers, aren't they? They score the points, get through their 3 or 4 tackles, get to their kick deep, tackle hard. It's a good game plan.
Well, it's a sign of the club too, isn't it? That obviously right through SG Ball, Harold Matts, Andrew Johns, Laurie Daily Cup, they've all been coached and structured and taught to play a certain way of football, and they're producing it.
Makes it very easy for these gentlemen to walk through the pathways, because they get up to that next stage, and it's just a continuation of what they've been taught at this stage.
Great little kick here from Davies, the West Tigers captain. He got out a dummy half and hooked it back over the markers and into the corner. And Penrith now, they're struggling to get back, but the West Tigers, they don't get up to meet him and bring it back away. Is Hudson, the 5, plays it now. Back to the left-hand side, they go through the 16 in Newland. And he's been pretty good since he's come on, the prop. And some easy meters here for the Panthers. Back through the middle.
Not anymore.
Good defence from the West
Good
Tigers.
defence from the Tigers.
And he's slow to get up there, the replacement dummy half, and Demueli. And another early kick. What's doing it? It's almost a 1980s kicking duel. And that might be a 40-20.
I think it is a 40-20, to be honest. He was certainly inside his 40.
Well, Wiki took his time getting there, and the referee is just trying to confirm
he's pointing to the spot to come in and take your tap.
Well, there you go. What a kick that is.
Yep, telling the Panthers to come in here and take your tap.
And that's a cherry on top. What a kicking game from these 2 young boys.
They've been very controlled, the 2 halves for the Panthers, haven't they? Hansen and Bunting, they've really driven this team around the ground very well. It's going to be hard to stop from this play, Tatua.
Yeah, he might get a try in the last couple of minutes here. Plays the ball back, 12.5 to play. Only a few metres away from the try line. Demueli goes himself, wrestles in the tackle, almost gets there. And he's okay after taking that heavy knock a few minutes ago. Tautaua, I think he's going to go himself. He might have heard me spinning.
He's got it down.
Over.
He's too big and too strong.
Oh, how good is he? Gets the try. I thought he was going to be held up over the line. He wrestles. He fights. And that's what he does. He fights for every inch.
Tautaua, yeah, just too big and too strong. Out of dummy half. We thought he was going to be held up, but he again drove those legs. He wriggled, he twisted, he turned, and he slams it down for another 4 points for the Panthers.
Getting a little bit ugly here for the West Tigers. You look up at the time and you're in the huddle behind the goalpost and you look at your teammates and you think we've worked really hard to keep this competitive throughout the game. A few things have gone against us, and you still look at the time. There's still 12 minutes left.
35 minutes. They were right in this ball game. Again, in the first half, 29 and a half minutes. If they don't give that try up and they score quickly after half-time, they could have been in front. They could have actually led this game, but you just knew that the way the Panthers were playing with structure, with patience, that they were going to, in time, run over the top of the Tigers, and unfortunately that has come to hand, and the Tigers starting to struggle now with about 11 minutes left on the clock after this kick. But doing well, the Tigers. They hung in really well for that first half. They've shown plenty of ability. They just have to take it that next step now.
And Bunting with his absolutely 100% easiest kick of the afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. He's, 7 metres to the western side of the goalposts. Only taking it back 10 metres.
And he'll be looking at this saying, I should throw this over. And he's been very, very good, Bunting. Probably been Penrith's best.
Hanson's been very good. You look at the front rower. Takai, he's been great. Tautaua, since he came on, has been very good. Pamali's been strong. And both of their wingers have got doubles. So across the park, they've been very good.
So he's 10 metres back, 10 metres to the right of the post. Moves in. Oh, I thought he'd missed it for a second. Kicks it. And it's another one for Bunting. So 28 points to 6. Panthers lead the West Tigers in round 3 action of the Andrew Johns Cup. And another home game for West Tigers next week. They'll be out at Camden. And you'll be able to watch all that.
At Kirkman Oval, I believe it is, yes.
Out of the home of the Camden Rams. And you'll be able to watch all the action, like every game of the Andrew Johns and Laurie Daily Cups, through the Country Rugby League Facebook page. Another kick-off for the West Tigers. They're probably getting a little bit bored of this.
Well, this is the time that they've got to stand up. And as you say, lots of scouts around and lots of people watching these games. This is the time that you can put your hand up if you're a West Tigers player. Just take it that extra level, put that extra little bit of work in, work hard, and you never know. You might just get yourself noticed.
Way to the right they go, Newland. And he's hit. Good defence from West Tigers.
Yeah, good initial hit. I see that might have been the 11 and might have been Cricklow. Was it in underneath? No, it was actually the 9. So great tackle by Eid.
Another kick from Bunting.
Good disciplined play. You're in front. Get to your kicks. Drive them down deep. Make them come out of their own end.
He's offside. Back at fullback, and our teammates picked it up in an offside position.
Had to do it, otherwise it was a try to the Panthers.
They'd have a dead set headache the amount of times they've been turned around by these Penrith halves.
And that's a great sign of a solid, well-coached, well-disciplined football team. Put them down in their own end, make them work it off their own line, look for errors, and that's been working for Penrith. The Tigers have been making a few errors. Another good tackler. That might be Eid again underneath his ribs driving in.
So the Panthers, they're only 15 away. They lead by 22. Short ball at the line that goes through to the 13 in Patea. And he's almost at the line. Good defence again from West Tigers. The first couple of tackles, that's not the problem. It's the end of the sets.
He's lost the ball.
And this time Penrith lose the ball, hand it over. And good work from West Tigers. Their desperation, it can't be questioned on their line. It's just communication and marking up on their opposite.
And it's just not making mistakes. It's as simple as that. If you can cut that error rate down, you can get out of your own end a little bit easier. But the workload that they've had to do, the possession that the Panthers have had, especially after that try early on in this half to the Tigers, has been just a mountain of possession for the Panthers. And the Tigers, as you say, they're hanging on. They're desperate around their try line. They're doing everything they can to turn them away. But if you make mistakes, it just invites the opposition to come down. Big set of 6 for the Tigers. Get away from their own line. Maybe get to the 4th tackle. Kick it down the other end. Take a little pressure.
You look at the attacking options for West Tigers. I was going to mention the 14 in Jake Harris, but he's back to the bench. And back on is Tobin Eid to finish the game as they go a short side trick play. And it goes away to Gamrawi. I guess the go-to is the little 7, their captain, Lachlan Davies. He can spark something.
Playing sort of in the fullbacky role at the moment. It's in with the green headgear.
Fullbacky role?
Yeah, fullback, because the fullback's on the bench now in Wiki. He's gone back to the bench. So they do need something out of these halves. But a nice relieving penalty. That'll get them down around about halfway to start this next set of 6.
Don't forget, the next game coming up is the Laurie Daily Cup. Same 2 sides, West Tigers and the Panthers. And both sides have finished their warm-ups. The Panthers back in the sheds. West Tigers off to the north. They'll come back to the sheds for final instructions.
Both teams looking for their first victory in this year's representative competition.
So the West Tigers back over the 50. Can they finish with something? Away to Adam Critchlow from the Jets out at Narellan. And he'll play the ball centre field 40 metres away. They hit the left-hand side. No, goes out of dummy half. That's Eade, and he gets them offside. Good work from the starting dummy half.
He's been good in defence in these last 5 or 10 minutes. Now he's putting his hand up in attack. And that's what you've got to do to keep taking your team forward. He's going to take a tap by the looks of things.
I almost would have left the replacement hooker, Jake Harris, out there and played both of them, rotating out a dummy half. But nonetheless, West Tigers have a late chance here, 15 away.
Tavui with a good run.
28-6, Eade. Away to that man, Critchlow again. Another strong run from him. He's going to play the ball only a metre away. Out of dummy half goes Eade. Goes himself. Penrith get there, though. He telegraphed that a little bit.
The numbers are to the right for the Tigers, but they don't look like they're going to go that way.
Critchlow is going to try to get it down himself. Referee says he likes it. Yep. That's a late try for Critchlow. And he was a man possessed the last 5 minutes. A couple of really strong hit-ups and gets in the dummy half, takes the chance, and West Tigers going to try next to the post. It's 28-10 with 5.5 to play. Yeah,
great play by Tobin Eade, their number 9 for the Tigers. He was the one that took them forward. A good run out of dummy half, caught the markers offside. Again, drove them down the field. Had to go himself from dummy half and just came up short. But then it was Adam Critchlow that decided to dive over from dummy half. A little bit of work to do, but he got it over, got it down. Puts a little bit of respectability back into the scoreline. Wasting no time taking the kick is Lachlan Davies. He adds the extra 2, and it makes it 28-12 now. The Panthers lead the Tigers with 5 minutes left in this Andrew Johns Cup round 3 match for the Country Rugby League.
Yep, so we will basically have Laurie Daily Cup coming out immediately after this game, with 4 minutes to go, 4.5 to go. And that will be immediately following this. So don't go anywhere. That game coming up straight after this one. 4 minutes, 50 to play, 28-10 the Panthers lead West Tigers. Curtis Hoodwood and Cam Hickson with you on Bar TV Sports on the CRL Facebook page. And the Panthers now through Bunting kicks off. And that's his best strike of the game. That's gone almost 50 on the full. He would have liked a couple of them earlier.
Yeah, from the sideline. You wonder why. Oh, straight through.
Oh, how about this? Great run from the West Tigers. We'll pick up that number in a second. It was the 12.
Yeah, Tuai.
Tavui. And he got the pass away to the 7 in Lachlan Davies. And the penalty goes to West Tigers.
Tavui had a good run in that last set of 6 that set up Eade to make that scurry from dummy half. So he's finishing the game strongly too.
So the tap will be taken for the West Tigers by Eade. And they go back to centre field down.
Crunching tackle.
Is Sydenham.
Sam Squire rocked him in a big hit.
From the Campbelltown Warriors. Up there on Junction Road in Roos. Not too far away from here. Eade, one-handed pick up. Away to the right they go. Nice ball at the line. A little bit of pressure, though, coming through. And getting up to play it now. Might be, we'll try to pick up that number in a sec. Critchlow again, the try scorer. Another strong run from him. They could get another try here, the West Tigers.
Finishing strong, aren't they?
Eade, across the line at Tuvai. They've got numbers out here. Ball goes to the ground and into touch. No, it's not back in.
Now it is.
And it finally goes across the line. And knowing how this game's gone, I almost half expected Penrith to pick it up and run 60 to score.
Correct. That's been the unfortunately the MO of this afternoon is when the Tigers have made a mistake. The Panthers have really capitalised on it. But the Tigers finishing off strong. Masai Tavui, he's had a couple of big runs, and that one from the kickoff absolutely gapped them, made 40 metres. And again, he is just trying to drive this West Tigers on. They're finishing strong with 2 minutes 50 left on the clock. But they're a long way down. 28-12 it is. The Panthers lead the Tigers.
Way to the left. And one of the try scorers, he's got a couple, Jesse Hudson. And, well, it's under 16s. I was going to say that the wingers should be buying their halves a couple of beers after the game, but it'll be cans of Coke and meat pies, won't it?
Correct.
So up over the 50. Panthers play the ball now.
Although these days, Curtis, I'm not sure about the meat pies.
Way to the right. Oh, huge hit. Coming through to make the tackle there was the 8 in Sydenham. Absolutely buckled the Panthers.
Oh, that's a late hit. Yep.
And that one was bad.
That's him just getting himself a little bit out of control, getting the adrenaline pumping. He got crunched.
Pants on, I think.
Well, he got crunched by Sam Squire in the last set of 6 that the West Tigers had, and he's decided he's going to come out and crunch a few people himself, and made contact number 1 and really did rock the Panthers in that first tackle, but then got a little bit excited with that second one. It was a little bit late. And the referee making sure that none of that creeps into the game in this last 2 minutes.
I think it was Harrison Hassett who got hit there by Sydenham. The first one anyway, as the West Tigers coming out of the line again. And the Panthers, they'll be happy to just get through a couple of plays here. They might run another trick shot, maybe get one of their wingers a hat trick.
I think they'll do what they'd usually do, to the middle of the field, setting it up. Now they'll work out where they're going to take their shot. Looks like it's to this right side.
Yeah, Bunting, first receiver, gets the pass away.
Same shot.
Oh, it's another it is a hat trick.
Yeah, same shot. Beautiful play
Jesse
from
Hudson.
the 5'8", Luke Hanson. Oh, didn't he set that up superbly?
So try time for the Panthers in the corner again. And they go bang, bang, score in the corner. And it's Hudson who gets the hat trick. And Hardiman on the other side of the field, he'll have his hands in the air and say, why didn't you come my way? But another try to the Panthers, 32-12. And that should almost finish the game with 58 seconds to play.
Oh, what a great play and a great setup that from the Panthers. Obviously well practiced on the practice park, but absolutely executed that perfectly. They came to this right side, first through Bunting, then Hanson. A beautiful hole run on the outside. I think it was Hanson, Siatomi Hanson. He had a little angled, beautiful hole run, and it was Hanson Luke Hanson just giving up Siatami Hanson and just throwing the cutout ball straight past him, straight across his face, out to Jesse Hudson, unmarked on the wing, over for try number 3 for the morning. And that just puts an absolute cap on this wonderful performance from the halves of the Penrith Panthers this morning.
Slick. I'd call it a slick performance from the Panthers.
Oh, absolutely polished performance. They have been wonderful. They've been controlling. Bunting has been fantastic. A great kicking game. He's really turned the Tigers around every opportunity he's got. And then when they've got down here, how good has Hanson been with his hands?
Yeah.
He threw a dummy on the far side in that first half that basically tripped up the touch judge. The touch judge was the only person that could have caught it. And the Tigers all fell for it. He made 30 there. But in those sorts of plays, he has been superb today, where he's just read the play, put the ball absolutely onto the chest of his winger. And between them, 5 tries, the 2 wingers for the Panthers.
Thought the siren had gone. It's actually an ambulance on the other side of the field. And it will be full-time anyway. Bunting moves in. And it's going to be waved away, no goal. Away. So full-time, 32-12. There's the real siren. And the Panthers have defeated the West Tigers. If nothing else, it was an entertaining game of football, but the Panthers too good in that second half.
Yeah, you saw early on, and we mentioned it early on, Curtis, the structure and the discipline of that Panthers team. And the more you play with that structure and the discipline, the further and deeper you can go into the games. And when fatigue becomes a factor, when you're playing with that sort of discipline and that sort of structure, then the fatigue doesn't seem to affect you as much, because you're just into that routine of doing what you're doing. But really, the kicking game of Tyler Bunting, just turning the West Tigers around at every opportunity, sending them back into their own end, making them work out of their own end. And that was superb from Bunting. Hanson was great when they got down there with the ball, but the West Tigers, just so much work to do coming out of their own end, and whenever they made a mistake, that the Panthers were there ready to pounce.
All right, so just repeating, full-time 32, Penrith, West Tigers 12. A great performance from the Panthers, very sleek, very well drilled, and their half sensational. Bunting, the 7, controlled the game throughout the 60 minutes, and Hanson came into his own like all good 5'8s do, probably during the contest.
The fact that they scored 5, 6, 7 tries, he's probably got 4 try assists.
Oh, how good's that?
So there's probably 4 try assists there for Luke Hanson for the Panthers. So great game from him and from his half combination in Bunting, but really not a bad player on the Penrith team. Right across the park, they were very, very good.
All right, so we've got some team changes here, and we'll have to get to the bottom of this, because we've got for West Tigers Ethan Tutt, Jackson Parker, and Steve Mauger have all dropped off the bench. That only leaves us with 14, 15 and 18. So we'll have to...
maybe one of these players might be backing up.
Perhaps. We'll worry about that when we get to it. But we'll read through these teams. So for the West Tigers, Laurie Daily Cup side, their captains Caden Fox is the fullback, Tavui and Barrett are on the wings, Luke Cowley and Hona are in the centres, Maverick Banton, how good's that name? Away with Bailey Varga.
Just needs his halfback combination to be Goose.
Adam Zara, Cooper Smith and Kai Wirtz are the front rowers. Romeo, another great name, Rapatoni and Burley, and the bench Lakalabau, Chantar, Ethan Tutt, as we mentioned, is gone. So the 16 drops off. The 17, Jackson Parker's Gornskis. The 18 is Alisana, and Steve Mauger's gone. And we'll get confirmation on that fourth bench player when we get to it. For Penrith, 1 through 17, and they've scratched the 18. So Penrith are 1 through 17, and we'll go through that side for you now. The visitors for the Laurie Daily Cup, Jackson Whitty's the fullback, Pritchard and Owen are the wingers. Tuausa and Lewin are in the centres. Braith Alexander is the 6. Connor Mason's the halfback and skipper. Isaac Papali, El Bayar and Wingbergen, my apologies, are in the front row. Hackney, Lipowich, Hansen is the back row, and the bench, another cracking name, Cruz Tweedy, along with Momo, Takala and Targot. So, and as we said, for whatever reason, 18's been stripped. So he drops off. He does not play.
17.
Through a bow. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know what I was saying.
Yeah, you're only allowed 17, so the 18 drops off for the Panthers.
And it will be interesting to see how West Tigers come out and start this game, Cam, because if you look at the stats of what's happened so far in the first 2 rounds of the Laurie Daily Cup.
Not that much between these two teams in the Laurie Daily Cup. Both struggling for form coming into the game.
I don't know, Cam.
However,
5th and 6th, but West Tigers for and against is 6 to 82. I think that's the big difference.
Yeah, they got touched up last week. Okay, well, that happens from time to time, especially when you're playing a very, very strong team. So not much you can do about that. But as I said, I don't expect there to be as much in this game as people think there may be.
So apologies to the family of 14, Elijah Lalakabau. He's from the Campbelltown Collegians over there in Bradbury. So we look forward to seeing him and all the West Tigers Laurie Daily Cup players as they're about to take the field. We're running a little bit behind schedule, 5 minutes delay. Obviously it tends to happen a little bit with injuries and whatnot.
I'll just tell you the officials for this next game. They haven't taken the field yet either, but the referee will be Daniel Perry, and the touch judges will be Shane Cricklow and Pat Allen.
They're your officials. Curtis Wood and Cam Hickson with you live on the CRL Facebook page via Bar TV Sports. And of course, the CRL would love to thank their major sponsor. And how good are these guys? SLE Worldwide. Anytime Fitness, and of course, as we just mentioned, Bar TV Sports. 65 games played in 23 towns across 7 weeks, and over 600 players get the chance to play in these competitions. How good's that? That
is fantastic. We mentioned it during the call of that Andrew Johns Cup. It's the pathways. It's these players being able to represent their local areas. You've got players from Murwillumbah, Old Bar, Dubbo, sort of all over New South Wales, and it's a great initiative from Country Rugby League to bring these two competitions together, as well with some of these city clubs, the Penrith Panthers, Parramatta, putting in teams, getting extra players and getting more clubs and teams in competition together. As we see the officials taking the field, followed by the Panthers here in the Laurie Daily Cup.
Yeah, the Panthers and their black strip. And you can just see as they come out on the field, the development in the bodies of the players in that 2 years.
That 2 years of growth, and all of a sudden the boys are 6 foot tall and 4 foot wide.
Some of these names, though, for this game. Maverick, we've got Maverick Banton, the 6 from LCC in the West Tigers side. And a couple of crackers in the Penrith side as well. Cruz Tweedy.
That's Vince Romeo.
Oh, how good is it? The parents are getting a little bit loose with their kids, aren't they?
Only his parents are calling Vincent Romeo.
So both teams on the field, as you can see through the CRL Facebook page. And the West Tigers, I know Penrith are sitting in 5th, but so we do have some changes here, and it looks like for the Panthers, side for the Panthers, the 21 comes in onto the bench, and that is Jamie Davison. He comes in 21. We'll just try to quickly get these in. Dropping out of the side, apologies, so dropping out of the side is Maxwell Pritchard. He's gone. So we've just got the official teams through from the Panthers. The 19 is Christian Lemai. Christian Lemai comes into the side. And dropping off out of the Panthers team is Matthew Lewin. And also coming through, Riley Backs, the 20.
Yeah, we've lost Jared Hackney out of the Panthers team,
Sorry,
the
we're
number
just
11.
trying to do this as we go along.
Yeah, just had it handed to us, and Jared Hackney has come out of the 11. 14, Cruz Tweedy will go into that spot, and onto the bench will come Riley Backs.
All right, we'll go with that. We'll see how we go anyway. So the West Tigers now, first chance of the ball, 35-minute halves in this one. And the West Tigers now bring it away from their own line. Has not been a good Laurie Daily Cup campaign for them.
The Tigers are only going to run with a 3-man bench, Curtis. They've only got 3 men on their bench.
Maybe they're not allowed to bring up a
Maybe not.
Joey Johns Cup player.
They do only have 3 players on their bench. So that's how we go as we get underway here.
So the West Tigers are a pretty solid set to start this one. Under 18s, of course. 40-20 attempt from the 5'8". And it's a kick downfield from Maverick Benson. And it's picked up by the 21 in Davison, who's a late addition to the team. So if you're just joining us, there has been a couple of changes. We'll try to keep on top of them.
He's in for number 2, Tavui, for the Tigers.
So the Panthers now away to the left-hand side. That's the fullback in Jackson Whitty. He'll play it back now centre field. First chance of the ball for the Panthers. And away to the right-hand side, and it goes away to the 19 who's in the program.
Yeah, that's
Lemai.
That's Lemai. Yep, Christian Lemai.
And first penalty of this one goes to the Panthers, just inside the West Tigers half. And they're going to kick it for the line now. And not the best of starts for the West Tigers, representing the Greater Southern Region, which starts from just up the road here at Mount Annan, all the way down the Southern Highlands to Moss Vale. So it's a very big region for football. And they get their chance to get a victory. They're 0-2 against the Panthers. Away to the right-hand side come the Penrith side, and it goes through the middle to Papali, the 8. And he's hit hard in the tackle. Good defence from the men in black and gold, and some white in there too. Obviously the merged club, our main end, the Magpies. Winenbergen plays the ball. He's only half a metre away. And that's knocked down out of the hands.
Should be a knock on.
Referee says he's offside. Well, they're on their own try line. I don't know how you can be offside when you're on your line.
I'd have been happy for a knock on, go back 10 metres, set a scrum and let the Panthers go from the scrum. But they get a tap kick and they're going to go to that big Winberger again. And Winbergen's going to try and crash over. I think he has.
Oh, no,
I think he's driven the legs and got alongside the post. Referee points to the spot, and Jai Winbergen will open the scoring. Just pure power from the big man.
And there's nothing better than a front rower scoring tries. Maybe just kicking goals might be a little bit better, but try time for the Panthers. They get the first one.
Can he take his own conversion?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? 4-0, and we've only had 3 minutes of play. Try to the Panthers under the sticks, and as Cam touched on, it was Jai Winbergen, and I don't know how many he'd get in his local competition out there, Penrith.
I can tell you what, if it was a first try scorer competition, it'd have been about 60-1.
Yep.
As most props are. But
well, if you got the old doubles, the doubles in the main.
The old doubles on the main, yeah, number 10.
And 10, you'd be dirty, but you're halfway home now as the conversion goes straight over the black dot from the skipper and Connor Mason. So a worrying start for the West Tigers. They gave away a penalty. Piggyback Panthers all the way down the other end.
As often the case, isn't it?
And not much doing.
How often do we say that discipline? The penalties and the errors are just absolute coach killers. You invite these teams down into your end and you will pay the price. And as you say, on the back-to-back penalties and the ones sort of more or less right underneath the sticks, the Panthers find a way to open the scoring and lead at 6-0.
We're back underway with the kick from the West Tigers fullback in Fox. And I dare say for the West Tigers and their coach, Craig Howe, he would have been saying before the game, there has to be an emphasis on defence and really trying to be staunch through the middle and trying to work off the back of that, particularly when you come into the game with a forward against of 6 and 82.
Yeah, not
and then
great,
give up that straight off the kickoff.
You'd have been doing a fair bit of defensive work at training during the week, you would think.
And playing the ball now is Peter Hansen.
Numbers left.
Way to the left-hand side they go through Tower Sow, and he's away. He's just run straight around them. Big ball inside. The referee's going to say play on.
No, he's just waiting to see.
Oh, hang on. He's calling an actual knock-on. So the knock-on came after the forward pass. I think he was happy with it with momentum, but, geez, again, not much doing, and the West, the old under-sixes, just the faster player ran around him.
Yep, got to the outside and just used his pace to get to the outside, make it 35, 40 metres, but just couldn't control the pass coming back on the inside. And the West Tigers will get this scrum feed, but they are 10 metres out from their own line, 20 in from that eastern touchline, so they are under pressure early, the West Tigers.
Yeah, it's starting a little bit gloomy here, but lucky enough that the clouds are pretty high at the moment. No rain. We've had all 4 seasons so far today as the West Tigers work it away from their own end. That's the 5 in Marley Barrett. It's another funky name, Marley. Haven't heard that before. Marley. Up over the 40. The kick's going to come out of dummy half from the hooker in Cooper Smith. And he telegraphed it a little bit because he's the right footer coming out to the left-hand side to kick, and the markers were nice enough not to put any pressure on him. We'll have to watch that, though, as the game goes on. As Penrith bring it back through their 5 who takes the tackle now, and that's Mitch Owen. And he plays it just before his own 30. Away they come, the men in black, the Mountain Men. 1-1, 1 victory, 1 loss so far in the Laurie Daily Cup. They come back to the left-hand side. And taking the settler now is Isaac Papal, and he took that pass off Braith Alexander. And a penalty against the play. I think he hasn't got his foot to the ball.
No, he wasn't straight on, so he was facing the sideline as he played the ball.
I haven't seen that since
been a long
Harrigan
time.
knocked out Martin Bella.
I was going to say, he played the ball the totally wrong direction.
That was a good one. Actually, there might have been one last year, to be fair. So the West Tigers, 20 metres away, a chance to hit back. They're down 6-0. We've had 12 minutes of play in this one. Poor pass. Nicely taken there by Vince Romeo. Lewis Shepherd is here. Hi, mate. Just getting a nice little shoulder rub. And Lewis Shepherd from Steel Sports. I think we're allowed to mention Steel Sports at least once. They're not competition.
Just once.
And he's, of course, part of the West Tigers, or the Magpies, Matt squad in the coaching team, and his brother Brock. And the West Tigers now. Is it Matt's or Ball? I don't know. 2 metres away. West Tigers on the attack. They're down 6-0. Flat ball at the line. It's a poor pass. It goes behind Vince Romeo. And it was not the kind of pass you want when you're a back rower running the hard angle back against the grain.
Yeah, a little bit of a high shot here.
It was a good hit, but it was a little bit high. And it might have been that man, Vince Romeo.
You're going to put him on report. Yep. Going to get called out. Caden Fox will come out to have a listen to our referee, Daniel Perry.
We've seen a little bit of that at the back end of the last game. Sydenham, the prop from West Tigers, he wasn't happy and he took it out on a couple of unlucky Panthers boys. And now the 11, Vince Romeo. It was a poor pass from his playmaker. It went behind him. And when you're trying to take a ball in traffic and push through that line, the last thing you need is a pass behind you.
Correct. You don't want to be turning your body and opening up yourself to a massive shot, and it's very hard for those players running at full tilt to turn like that, open themselves up and still concentrate on actually catching the ball, not the contact that's about to come.
So you're listening to Curtis Wood, Cam Hickson, Laurie Daily Cup via Bar TV Sports, and it's all thanks to the Country Rugby League and their Facebook page. Thanks for watching. That's a shocking kick for touch. Might have been touched. It was.
It was touched. And
the touchy for this game, Pat Allen?
Well, we've got Pat Allen and Shane Critchlow, but not sure who it is on this side, but either way, touchy right on top of it.
He's got the locks flowing. It's a lovely look. One would be so lucky to have that much hair, Cam.
Yeah, well, yeah, when I was about 8.
I can't speak, mate. I've got an IMAX on my head now. So, West Tigers, they're defending again. Panthers back with the ball, away to the 5 in Mitchell Owen. And he's up over the 40 now. And we've had just under 10 minutes of play in this one. Back to the left they go. And they've got numbers down this side again. They're away. And I think that's Lemai, the 19, who's in the side. And now back to the centre they go. Very busy so far has been Zion. Tawasar, my apologies. Another good name. Inside the 20 they go. Across the line. And Alexander's got it. Short ball. Might have been forward. Referee says play on. Flat at best. And now Alexander in the dummy half. Hits the blind side. Goes away to Whitty. Gets the pass to Mitch Owen. And the West Tigers are there in numbers. They make the tackle. But they're only 15 away from the try line. 5 in from touch. Last tackle. Alexander gets the pass away. Did Alexander know it was the last? He gave it to his second rower.
Very late call from the referee there because I was looking. I thought it might have been the last. I didn't see his hand go up until after the ball was played, so maybe just caught Penrith a little bit by surprise. Did catch me a little bit by surprise, and unfortunately the Panthers don't get a good end to their set of 6, and the Tigers working it out. Good run here. Gets them 40 out from their own line on tackle 2.
Yeah,
didn't play it.
One there. Oh,
and he's going to be called for it. Yep, didn't play it well. It was just to be a case of how it was going to go. It was the 13 for the Tigers, and that's Burley. It was a case of whether or not it was going to be a penalty for him being dragged down, a penalty against him for not playing it correctly, or a loss of the ball. The referee decided to go with the loss of the ball.
Yeah, and Burley in familiar colours from the Oaks Tigers. Very similar strip in many ways. And now the Panthers will have the scrum feed.
Straight back on the attack, and this is where it's very dangerous. The Panthers a big chance of ripping them through. It's getting out wide there. It was Mason looking to split his way through.
Yeah, again, that's Tawasar gets the pass on the outside. Back to the left they go. They might score in the corner. Lee might falls over.
He dived for
falls into touch.
He dived for the line, but unfortunately he dived for the sideline, Curtis, not the try line.
Well, maybe he thought it was raining, but he could have slid over the line, but he's hit the turf and he's just dug himself in like one of Cam's golf shots.
Oh, I don't play that well anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, May just, he dove for the sort of corner, but he sort of landed on the sideline, which didn't give him any sort of chance to be able to get the ball down in the end goal area. And so a very promising attacking raid again by the Panthers will come to naught. And the Tigers, they will get out of trouble again. They trail by 6. It's 6-0. The Panthers over the Tigers. But again, like in the Andrew Johns Cup, the Tigers, they're just hanging around. 23 minutes left in this first half.
That Lemai's fall there reminded me a little bit of one Cam Hickson in a recent baseball game where he'd done all his rib cartilage.
Yeah, don't talk. I'm still sore. Still got bad rib cartilage problems.
Oh, I love an injury. So particularly when it's someone else.
Yeah, sure.
So the West Tigers now just before halfway. Last tackle. And it goes away to the open side now through Banson. It's a midfield bomb. Getting through quickly comes the Panthers fullback in Jackson Whitty. He does well, takes the tackle. But the West Tigers, they just lacked a little bit of polish there. The hooker.
And they're going again on this left side. Again through May.
And they're not numbering up. It's both games now, the Johns Cup and the Daley Cup. The Panthers just had a field day down both sides.
Yeah, plenty of room on that left side for the Panthers attack, isn't there? Christian Lee May is just finding heaps and heaps of room out there to eat up the metres for the Panthers.
And Papali's been very, very busy, the prop for Penrith. Away to Alexander. Again, numbers on the right-hand side. Comes across now to the...
This is Owen playing in the right centre position.
Yep, sorry, it was. And he's going to play the ball now. Couple of plays left in this set of 6. Hopefully the referee gives the Panthers halves a little bit more time. There he goes, hand in the air this time. 20 away. Back to Alexander, the 6. He's going to kick, and it comes off a West Tigers player. Picked up, play on. Coming through the middle is the 7 in Mason. Gets the offload away. Back to Alexander. The referee hasn't said 6 again, has he?
No, I didn't see the signal. He must have done it straight away as soon as the foot went out, but he wasn't calling it regularly.
Away to Papali. Is hit. Good defence there from the West Tigers.
Again, Romeo with the big hit.
And
wherefore out there, Romeo.
Short ball at the line. Winbergen wants 2. And staunch defence under the sticks that time from West Tigers.
What price a Winbergen double?
Mason at the line. Short
great
ball.
ball.
Too good. Great pass. And the try scored by Zach Lipowicz. And that is perfect from the 7, in Connor Mason. It was a flat ball at the line. The West Tigers, they had numbers there that time, but it was a great line from the second rower. Perfect pass. And the Panthers, they've got their second.
Yeah. Winbergen again was looking for a double up the middle for his second of the day. What price was it going to be? A Jai Winbergen double coming into this game, but they worked it out on this right side to the Panthers, and it was just a beautifully placed ball by Connor Mason, their skipper, and a wonderful hole run by Zach Lipowitz, and he just picked the hole perfectly. Mason put it on his chest and he crashes over for the second try, and again it comes on the back of a 6 again call where the Braith Alexander was just trying to put it through the line, and the Tigers threw their legs out and knocked it down. The Panthers get another 6. Conversion, no time being wasted there by Mason.
Did he?
He whacks it over for another 2. And it is 12-0 now. The Panthers lead the Tigers here in the Laurie Daily Cup.
What are the chances that Braith Alexander's related to Greg?
Has to be.
So West Tigers, all to do, and there's still 20 minutes to go in the first half. And the Panthers with the lead.
Right, he's at the right age to be his son, but I don't know that for a fact. I'd have to look into that.
Research, that's the name of the game.
We will get the research department onto it.
And away it goes to Winbergen. He's had a huge start to this game. He's almost back to the 30. Great run from him. And the Panthers now, they got momentum. And once that begins, it's very hard to stop. But the West Tigers now, they come up and there's 3 in the tackle. And they make it now. And if you're just joining us, earlier in the Andrew Johns Cup, the Panthers with the victory there as well over West Tigers. And now they're going to kick early. Alexander is going to go for the 40-20. He's inside. But the ball veers back towards the West Tigers and their fullback in Fox. Of course, Cam, some massive changes announced during the week in the local area with the West Juniors now defunct, and they'll be taken over by the New South Wales Rugby League, and hearing that everything might be renamed West Tigers out here, which would be
nice,
interesting, and I guess a little bit more streamlined, which has been an issue out here for a long time about, knock on here from West Tigers. Again, and that was the prop, the number 10 in Cooper Smith.
Yep, they're going to invite the Panthers there. They're going to invite the Panthers back down to their end for another attack. And with 19 left on the clock in this first half, they cannot afford to allow the Panthers to score another cheap try here.
Yeah, they look hungry, the Panthers. They want some points, get that for and against going. As we did touch on before, coming into this game, if you looked at, and I'll just try to bring up the right sheet, wherever that is, find it in a second. Just repeating, West Tigers coming into this game 6-82, their for and against, while the Panthers 28-44. And they're obviously a loss and a draw to start their campaign. So they'll want to, if they can get the victory, do it in style. As the Panthers now back on the ball, 40 metres away from the West Tigers line. It's 12-0. Mason short at the line, gets the pass back to Mason now on the 30. They come alive, the Panthers. Alexander to Winbergen. You can smell that try line, the big fella. He's only 15 metres away. The dummy half is Hamid El-Baya. Out of dummy half, he goes straight through the middle, beats 1, beats 2, beats a 3rd. And again, they come and make the tackle. Good work from him, asking questions out of dummy half. Away to the right they go. Mason. Oh, I thought that might have been forward to...
very short little pass, wasn't it?
Alexander.
Tackle.
Last tackle. Back to Mason it goes. Across field, it's not the highest kick coming through.
Oh, great defence.
He got there, but he's flung over the dead ball line. And I think the touch judge is going to say last touch off the West Tigers.
Yep.
Well, I thought the Panther got there and took the ball, but obviously he didn't.
I'm sure he did. And then the West Tigers were good enough, the defender out there on that far side, which I think might be Tavui on that far side for the Tigers, was good enough to be able to wrap him up and steal the ball off him and drag him over the dead ball line before he could ground it. A great piece of defence out wide there by the Tigers.
And it's taken nicely by El-Baya, and he gets the pass away to the 8 and Isaac Papali, and they've laid a foundation today in this game so far, the front rows for the Panthers in Papali and Winbergen. They've been very good. Speaking of him, Winbergen that is, just showing he's got a little depth pass in his game too, which is something every prop needs in their game these days. Only 11 away from the line. Goes away to Alexander. Behind one, away to Owen. spins away from 2, comes back centre field, straightens now, and the West Tigers come and make the tackle, 5 metres away from the try line.
Trouble left.
Been saying that all day, haven't we? He'll bay out a dummy half, beats 2 and scores. He got low, he went, and the West Tigers didn't get low enough to go with him, and he scores. And it's now 16-0. And I guess it was the double bluff from the Panthers. We thought they were going to go wide. They were under.
They were lined out. They were lined out left, and the Tigers were short out left. Yep, absolutely.
And hasn't the number 9 for the Panthers, El Bayer, come to life the last 5 minutes, starting to ask some questions. So now the Panthers don't only offer threats out wide and through their halves and their front rowers, but now the dummy half is getting into it.
Well, that's a sign of a good dummy half. And El Bayer, again, as you say, he's just working himself into this game. Once the fatigue around the middle of these Tigers is setting in, he's stepping up his running game. We've seen him make a few metres out of dummy half as Mason again wastes no time, slots it over the black dot for another goal. That's 3 tries and 3 goals. It's 18-0. The Panthers over the Tigers. But yeah, El Bayer again, as we said, that running game just starting to come in as fatigue. And again, threw a massive big dummy out to the left. All the Tigers went left. It opened up a gap just to the right of the play the ball. And as you said, Curtis, he got low, he drove hard, and nobody was stopping him from scoring a 4-pointer here at Campbelltown Stadium.
Yep, all thanks to Bar TV Sports through the Country Rugby League Facebook page. Curtis Hoodwood and Cam Hickson with you for this second game of the doubleheader from Campbelltown Stadium. Thanks to the major sponsor, SLE Worldwide and Anytime Fitness, who are an official partner of the CRL's Andrew Johnson Laurie Daily Cup. Here comes Winbergen again. He almost gets straight through them.
Off the back fence.
I don't know where you kick it. You can't kick it to Papali on the other side of the field.
He's just as damaging, isn't he?
Just try to kick it at the post and hopefully it bounces off and hope for the best. Offload now to Owen. It's starting to get a little bit dangerous here for the West Tigers.
Very
Owen's
ragged, aren't they?
4. And eventually they come again to make the tackle. Over the top there was the 10 for the West Tigers in Wirtz.
And wouldn't get off him.
And the penalty goes against Wirtz. He'd done all the hard work. He got across, made the tackle, and he lied on too long. And he's from the Mittagong Lions Club. Down the Hume. And another chance here for the Panthers.
Yeah, this could get very ugly. The Tigers are starting to get a little bit ragged. 14 minutes left on the clock in this first half. And a try here and the floodgates would be 24. They'd be well and truly open.
That's Lipowicz, one of the try scorers for the Panthers.
Oh, got ahead of himself there, El Bayer.
Yeah, he had a little play going with Winbergen. And he stepped out to his right and tried to get it back across the ruck to Winbergen, and he's...
So you often see that with the NRL teams where the dummy half scoots out to the right, tries to draw the 2 markers to the right, and then throws it to the left to whether it be a fullback or another forward coming through on the left side of the ruck to maybe open up a little bit of territory in behind the ruck. But unfortunately that time El Bayer got a little bit ahead of himself and didn't have the ball in his possession when he decided to get fancy. Knocks it on, and the Tigers will try to get it out of their own end, but muscling up out wide. A good tackle out there by the number 3, Taasa, for the Panthers. He goes after him again, makes 2 in a row as the Tigers tackled about 12 out from their own line.
They've done some defending, the West Tigers. It's been a while since we've called a set of 6, it feels like, as they bring it away, and that was playing the ball as Kai Wirtz. And they'd be tied, the West Tigers.
Nice
they
offload.
do get the offload away, though, and Caden Fox, like all good fullbacks do, backs him up. Plays it now just before his own 40. Chip and chase coming here from the 6 in Maverick Banton. They're getting through quickly, but it's a nice
Look out, though. Look out, though.
He's away down the right-hand side. That's Jackson Whitty on the opposite side of the field, the eastern side of Campbelltown Stadium. Nice little play. Little trick shot.
Worth a try. Got to try something.
And a round of applause here for Winbergen as he comes from the field, and he deserves that and a bit more, I reckon.
He's had a massive first start to the game. It's a big, big effort from the big man.
And he's going to go to the bench there.
Might not get a lot of a break as Christian Limay. Limay is hurt over there for the Panthers. Down on the ground getting some attention, and this will be a welcome relief of a bit of a break for the West Tigers as their trainers get out there with drinks, get around them and try and get a little bit of energy back into them.
Yeah, and Papali's now come from the field too, so they've rotated both their props off.
It's a little bit tough for the West Tigers. As we said, they're only running with a 3-man bench in this game.
It's interesting too. You'd like to get some feedback on if that's a OH&S for the players in the 16s and particularly at representative level. if you can go up and actually play 2 grades or 2 years up now.
You're probably better off not, you're probably better off not doing it in this day and age, especially after having played. If you're asking someone to back up, it's obviously a player that's played well and capable of playing at this level.
Interesting too that
it'd be very difficult to do that.
Just interesting that they don't have a larger squad available, particularly when you're playing at home.
May come down to the other grades. There might have been players called up to SG Ball, etc.
Yep, it's a chance. Alexander dummies, goes himself straight through, beats the fullback, does he? Yes, he does, and he'll score. And he does it all himself, the 6 Alexander. I got a little bit ahead of myself there. I thought he was going to beat him for sure, the fullback. Eventually he does, and that's try time for the 6, Braith Alexander, and that's a name I think we're going to hear a little bit more in that second half. He went himself, saw half a gap, he took it, and he beats the fullback, Whitty, and that's try time Panthers, 22-0 with a kick to come.
Yeah, floodgates opening now for the Tigers. They had a good little bit of a rest there while May was hurt on the ground. But
he beat Fox, that was.
Almost 2 tackles later, the Panthers come to this right side, and Alexander does it on his own, throws a big dummy, steps through a gap, had the fullback to beat. He had support on his inside, decided not to throw the pass but to take the fullback on himself. And probably thankfully for him, he did beat the fullback, crashes over for another 4-pointer. As you say, Curtis, 22-0. And this is starting to get a little bit ugly for the Tigers.
Yep, so this will be 24 if he can convert this. And
he's been kicking well all day, Mason, so maybe I can put the mocker on him. No, not even I can stop him. Over the black dot it goes, 24-0.
Yeah, 24-0, and you look at Alexander, just the way he plays the game and his body shape, he looks like he's developing into one of those guys that's just going to be there, and if he keeps at it, and the best part too is when you look at Penrith's Andrew Johns Cup side, we saw some great players coming through that game, Cam. Tyler Bunting and Luke Hanson. I mean, they're not short in a halfback out Penrith, are they?
No, not at all, and that's a great problem to have. A selection of these young men coming through and see how they develop and how they work as they progress through the years and work through the pathways that are set for them out there in Penrith.
And Tau Arce, he's at a big first half, the centre, and he's come centre field 25 away from his own line, goes across to the 15 now, and Osman Mormor, and he's going to play just before the 40. Away to the right, here comes the other replacement front rower, and Tukala gets through the line, had an arm free, looked for a support player. He had one in Peter Hansen, but he decided not to give it. Goes back to the right now. Alexander, cross the line. Lipowicz. Great ball down the right-hand side. They're away through the 21, and Davidson beats Fox. Goes himself and scores the try. Well, how about this from the Panthers? Beautiful football. And the replacement winger, 21, he came into the side late, gets the try, and the Panthers, they get another one, and it will be, if they can get the conversion here, 30-0, and we've still got 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, and that's just a case of the Panthers just now throwing it around, feeling confident, feeling comfortable, and unfortunately for the Tigers, I think they're in for what is now a long afternoon here at Campbelltown Stadium. They can't really get around it. The try scorer, of course, 21, Jamie Davidson, and really the only person he had to worry about was the man on his inside, which was Mitchell Owen, his own man. He was the only man that looked like
him off, didn't he?
I was going to say he was the only man that looked like tackling him as he tiptoed along this western sideline, went around the Tigers, and basically then only had Caden Fox to beat, and Caden Fox unfortunately didn't put up a lot of resistance as Jamie Davidson goes in for try number 5.
Beautiful. It's Preston Campbell all over.
Add the extras.
And going back to that try there too, we touched on it before about how front rowers and second rowers, they need to be able to develop a passing game, and they need to add that dimension. That try was set up by the 12, Zach Lipowicz, and the pass originally came from Alexander. Lipowicz looked up and he said, I've got Davidson on the outside here, and gave him a perfect 10-metre spiral.
How well has Lipowicz run holes and run angles for Alexander to either put him through the gaps or for Alexander to go through gaps himself? And then on this occasion, he runs it, he gets the pass, and he then can promote that ball onwards.
Short 10.
Short
nice.
Well covered up by the big man up front.
Yeah, and that's picked up there by...
It might be Tweedy. No, it's the 16.
Takala, 16.
Takala. I did see Cruz Tweedy was out there.
That's a big risk, though, isn't it? You don't get the ball back from the short 10, and now the Panthers start their set on the 40. They're happy to do that.
There's that man, Cruz Tweedy, now. He's about 5 from halfway.
That's a good name. Cruz Tweedy. And now Through centre field is the dummy half in Hamid El Baya. Has not overplayed his hand. I guess you don't have to when you've got a squad like this. Plays it back now. Way to the left. Goes through the 15 in Momo. Up over the 40. Good run from him. And he plays it back now. Last tackle. Way to the right. No look pass from the hooker. And hit late is
nothing
Mason.
wrong with that.
No, that's fine. And it's picked up.
He kicked.
Picked up at the back there from the West Tigers, number 6. Who's, of course, Maverick Banton. Because they'll be very happy to get to half-time at 30-0.
Oh, will they what? They can't get to half-time quick enough, the West Tigers. Still 7 minutes left in this first half. They trail 30-0. It's all been all the Penrith Panthers here in this first half of the Laurie Daily Cup. Thanks to Country Rugby League, the CRL, and bringing us all the action of their representative season.
We touched on it before about the for and against. With the Panthers, they started this game at 28-44. Well, they're back in the back in the
positives, yeah, back in the black.
So good defence there from the Panthers this time. Away to Banton, the 6 runs back around to the other side of the field, puts the kick in, and it's a good kick in the end. And he done well to get away from the defenders as well, who came across and put some pressure on him.
Lee May making a 40-metre run for 5 metres of forward distance.
And he plays it now. That's Lemai. 15 away from his own line. Picked up by Davison now, one of the try scorers. And he spun around in the tackle mid-air. Plays it back now. Centre field. They go back to the right-hand side. Owen. And first contact from West Tigers hasn't been too bad.
Just haven't stuck it, though, a lot of the times, Curtis. They've bounced off a lot, but a nice kick here from Alexander. Deep kick. Look at a good
class.
Kick.
Look at
end
that
over
kick.
end, down right to the try line.
And you can hear that ball. I don't know if you could hear that through the camera.
Thump.
But the thump, the echo of the ball, just sweet. And now the West Tigers, they're turned around. Didn't we see that a fair bit in the last game? The Andrew Johns Cup. They just kept turning them around. And now we've got a knock on. That's what happens every...
I was going to say, what does that tell you about the coaching structures and the whole overall pathways of this Penrith club? It doesn't matter what level of the game you're playing at, they're putting those structures to get you a solid game plan together. It's make ground up the middle, work right, work left, work to the middle, kick deep, tackle hard, and try and force a mistake from your opponents. And that has been the recipe for success this afternoon or this morning here at Campbelltown Sports Park. They have just basically grinded the West Tigers into the turf.
And it's the other, I guess it's a way you look at the game too, is that some coach will say hold the ball as long as you can, and whenever you've got it, you're the attacking side. But if you look at it from a field position game, Penrith have been inside the West Tigers half for basically the whole half. Even in defence, they're attacking. Well,
you look at the percentage of where you score your tries from, Curtis. You probably score maybe 5% of the tries from inside your own 40, as opposed to about 90% of your tries from inside your opposition's 20. So where would you rather the ball be for most of the game? You'd rather it be inside your opposition's 20, because if you can get your hands on it in some way, shape or form, you're probably 9 to 10 times more likely of scoring a try from down there than you are being in your own end or in the centre of the field. So I think it's a good tactic, especially if you can back your boys to tackle and tackle hard. Kick it down there and tackle them to death. And that seems to be a bit of the structure of the Panthers. Get down there, tackle them hard, look for a mistake. They've got a mistake, and I would think with about 5 minutes left on the clock here in the first half, we may see another Penrith try.
Yep, and just looking at the Panthers bench, the only player not used yet is the 17 in Isaac Targo. So we'll see him shortly, I dare say, with the score being what it is. So a late chance for the Panthers. Can they get another one before the break? Away to the right they go. Alexander, short ball at the line, away to Lipowicz. He's way too good, too strong, and he takes 2 West Tigers across the line with him, and they knew it was coming. Alexander, way to Lipowicz, try scored, and it's 34-0 with a kick to come, and we've still got 4 minutes 52 to play. But what
Alexander did well then, Curtis, was he went towards the line. He put that one defender into 2 minds while Lipowicz ran the hole, and the moment that defender sort of turned in towards Alexander gave the pass to Lipowicz, and by the time that defender had recovered to turn to go on to Lipowicz, he's too big and too strong. He was crashing over the line for his second try of the afternoon.
That happens, mate. There's just the Doors do what they do.
As I said, there's a bit of breeze up here at the top of the grandstand, and you get the occasional door slam, but all good.
unfortunately for the West Tigers, when it does get down inside this 20, it just looks like a training run for the Panthers at the moment.
Well, that's it. The Panthers are just hitting their marks. Alexander's passes are great. Mason adds another 2 points, make it 36-0. And yeah, they hole run well. Lipowitz is running some fantastic holes. You've got Owen that's lurking out wide in the centres. You've got Alexander and Mason just controlling the game and just putting passes on platters for their forwards that are running those holes, rewarding them for running those hard lines. And the Panthers, their structure, their discipline, the way they're playing, just way too good for the Tigers at the moment.
If you look at the 7 and the 6-2, what else they're doing for the Panthers is that they're playing square at the line, but taking that extra step, which engages the West Tigers defenders. And there's nothing they can do because the West Tigers then have to take that extra step towards the 7 or the 6.
I was going to say, you saw Alexander the last time when the defender laid off him. He just threw the dummy, went straight through and scored himself. So if they don't actually engage that the pivots, then the pivots are going themselves and scoring. So they're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. But a penalty for the Tigers is going to give them a rare chance down this end. An incorrect play the ball from the Panthers, and the Tigers will get a penalty 30 out, centre field, and a chance to go on the attack. With 3 minutes left in the first half, they trail at 36-0.
Yeah, so away they go, the West Tigers, and they're only 20 metres away to start their set of 6. Can they get on the board before the break and give their fans something at half-time? It goes away to Kai Wirtz, the 10.
It'll just give them a lift in energy and enthusiasm if they can find a try here before half-time.
Back to the left they go, and it goes away to Banton. Hooks up with his fullback in Fox, goes himself, runs over the top of one, the little fullback, and that was Owen.
He got rid of Owen easily, didn't he?
Back to the right, Maverick Banton at the line, goes across to Kai Wirtz again.
Got numbers to the right if they can work a play out there. Penrith recovering though.
Banton again, engaging the line. Back inside of the number 2 in Tavui from Ingleburn RSL. Plays it, last tackle now, hand in the air from the ref. Banton, he's done everything this set of 6, but that was too much. And way too much sauce on that. And that goes dead in goal. And a 7-tackle set coming up for the Panthers.
Danger times. Although leading 36-0, it's a case of whether the Panthers are going to throw it around now with 2 minutes left in this first half. There's nothing to say they shouldn't. They've got everything going for them as Owen just takes the tap, makes 10 metres. Centre field here with a minute 50 on the clock. 36-0. The Tigers trail the Panthers here in the Laurie Daily Cup.
It's just a bit of concentration here for the West Tigers. They need to be on their toes. Across the line it goes. I don't know if we've got him in the program.
Riley Backs, number 20.
Riley Backs, we do. Riley Backs, there you go. So here's another late inclusion for the Panthers. Alexander, Lipowitz, quick hands, beautiful pass. They're away again through Owen. He's got a teammate through and back to the centre. It might have been forward.
Oh no, he's playing on. Referee says okay for Alexander.
For sure.
I thought it was too.
Well, how was that not forward? Try time anyway to the
Alexander,
Panthers.
Braith Alexander, he's second.
40-0, and we're not even at half-time, and a bit of...
I thought Owen made a mistake going back to the inside. He had his winger on the outside, which was an easier pass, but it's the left to right pass, which a lot of people don't like on the run. They prefer the right to left pass, but he decided to go right to left, throw it inside to Alexander. Looked like it was forward from where we sat. Referee was much closer. He decided to play on. Alexander scoops it up after it bounces and then runs that last 10 metres or so to score his second try of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's very easy to bag the ref there, but he didn't get much help from his touch judges either. Didn't give him anything at all. Anyway, you make your own luck, and the try is scored. And it all came again because of the fact that the West Tigers didn't mark up when they should have and give that passageway to Davidson.
Well, it was
it
was a great pass from Zach Lipowitz. He's been fantastic on this right edge for the Panthers. He again ran at the line, and when he got the centre to commit to the defence, it just gave Owen just an absolute saloon run down this right-hand touchline. And as I said, Owen had outside him another player on the outside of him, which I think might have been Davidson. He just decided not to go to him. He decided to go on his own, and then decided to go to Alexander on the inside. And it turned out to be okay for the Panthers anyway. They score on the stroke of half-time. And the conversion good from Mason. 42-0 as the siren blows. As we head to half-time here in the Laurie Daily Cup. It is all the Panthers, 42-0.
Yeah, so we will take that break. And as we do, all thanks to SLE Worldwide, Anytime Fitness, and of course Bar TV Sports, who will bring you this game and the previous game of the Andrew Johns Cup, all live on the Country Rugby League page. We'll take this break, come back for the second half. 42-0, Penrith lead the West Tigers. And the visitors, the Panthers, they're back on the field for the second half. They lead the West Tigers 42 points to nil in this Laurie Daily Cup game. All the Panthers in the first half. And Cam Hickson, we're just saying off air that, it's not from a lack of trying, but just too much class from the Panthers. And the West Tigers aren't making it easy for themselves. And we had the same issue in the first game, the Andrew Johns Cup. It doesn't look like there's any communication on the outside. And they're not marking up, and the Panthers are just running rings around them.
Yeah, a few errors from the Tigers haven't helped themselves, but it's been the class, as you said, Curtis, of this Penrith Panthers side. The likes of Mason, Alexander and Lipowitz have just been superb. You throw that with the good running of Owen, getting on the outside of his men, Whitty from the back, chiming in and helping out, and of course the big front rowers going forward, making all the grounds early on. Winbergen and Papali were just great for the Panthers. So across the park they have been very good. As I said, the Tigers haven't been poor, they just haven't been able to compete at the same level as the Panthers. When they've made their mistakes, they've been punished, and they've been punished heavily. But again, as per the first game, we've seen good structure, we've seen good areas from the Panthers in terms of being able to sort of work to the middle, then work to an edge, then go wide to the other edge. They've been able to work their structures and their areas very, very well so far in both of these games, which augurs well if you're a Panthers supporter for maybe the upcoming seasons.
And the scariest part too for the West Tigers is they get through the next 10-15 minutes of play, whatever the score might be, and then the Penrith side bring on their two starting front rowers again.
Yeah, a bit of a worry, isn't it?
Again. So we're underway, second half, 35 minutes to go for West Tigers. It can't come quick enough for them. And the Panthers now, we'll see what their mindset is. Second half, I've got a knock on to start. And that comes from the 16 in Takala, Bert Takala. So not a good start for the Panthers.
But exactly what the Tigers needed to get a little bit of enthusiasm and a little bit of energy going back in them. As now they're monster going backwards in attack.
That's Lalakabau.
25 metres out.
Goes back inside now to Alisana from the Collies. And he's going to play the ball. The Campbelltown Collegians, that is. That's his club side. Away to the left they go to Maverick Banton. Plays in motion. Straight run here from the 11 in Vince Romeo. And he's going to be wrestled to ground. There's 4 Panthers there. They can't get him to ground, though. That's good work from Romeo, the second rower. Maverick Banton away from Wirtz. Through the hands now to the 12, and that's Rapatoni.
Really not throwing much at Penrith, though.
No, not at all. Couple of plays left in set of 6, and they're going to lose the ball. Picked up by the Panthers. Over the 20, it's the hooker, and that's Albea, and he's going to be dragged down. They get there pretty quickly. Fox. And I'll tell you what, if it was one of the backs, he was gone for all money, and now a penalty. That's almost a sin bin.
Yep. No, maybe not at 42-0. Let's leave it in there.
That'd be harsh, wouldn't it?
It would be.
It would be evil from the referee, but unfortunately for West Tigers, they've turned over possession, and now they've tried to force a pass. I think it was Osmond Momo who's just tried to get the pass away on the first tackle. West Tigers lose the ball now, but I don't think there will be an advantage play.
Well, they've had the advantage. They played the first tackle. They've had their advantage. They got tackled with the ball. So it will be a Penrith scrum feed.
Oh, that's bad luck for the West Tigers.
It's just unfortunate that they had actually taken their advantage.
Cam. It really is. You get the ball back. You're trying to get some momentum back into your game. It's 42-0. Pretty good field position to start your set of 6 on your own 40. And the dummy half loses the ball in the first play. It's all concentration. And they call it transition, Cam. And how quickly you can transfer from defence to offence.
Correct. Still a warm afternoon here, about 28 degrees in the southwest of Sydney. So, as you said, Curtis, a nice covering of clouds. So it's not direct hot sunlight, but still warm and sticky out there for the early stages of a rugby league season.
Yeah, beautiful ball on the outside to Owen. And he's up to the 20 now. Just looking at Cruz 20. He's got the old torpedoes on.
Yeah, he got the white torpedoes on.
Alexander, cross the line now to Takala. Centers the ball, takes 10 metres, and now we're going to have a rake penalty. So, a couple of things coming into the West Tigers game. It's understandable when you're out on your feet. You're under duress. And away go the Panthers again. At the line, across to Whitty. At the line now, and he deserves a try. That's the centre. Zion Tewasa, and that's all too easy for the Panthers. They score after 3.5 minutes of the second half. It is 46 points to nil with a kick to come, and he has been awesome throughout the first half. Zion, the centre, the number 3, and he gets his first try of the afternoon. This could be 48 in a couple of seconds' time as well.
It was a beautiful hole run there by Tuasa. He just changed his angle at the very last moment. He was going in the same direction as the attack, and at the very last moment, he stepped off his left foot, straightened and went through the gap. Nice pass from Whitty that just found him coming back on the inside angle, and he was just too quick and too strong for the sliding Tigers defence, who was still going towards the sideline, and when he cut back on the inside, they had no answer for it. As you say, 46 with a kick to come, and this is getting ugly, unfortunately, for the Tigers.
Yep, so the shot at goal will come for the 7, Connor Mason. Having the goal kickers for the Panthers had some practice today. Moves in.
6 for 6.
And he's brought it back. How about that?
Wind definitely coming from the left of screen. And he rode it in beautifully to make it 7 for 7 for the afternoon for Connor Mason.
So that's 48-0 with 30 minutes of football to play.
Yeah,
so shades of Magpies 99 here at Campbelltown Stadium. About the same size crowd as they were getting at the time as well. And unfortunately, from memory too, being a young fella watching those games out here, very similar scores at about the same time in the game too.
Yeah, it makes it hard to...
much fun.
Certainly for the players, for these West Tigers players, but it makes it very hard to keep their enthusiasm levels up. You almost think that Penrith are going to score every time they touch the ball. Now, good kick-off. They might find the dead ball line. It will find the dead ball line. So, great kick-off from the Tigers. They will get it back courtesy of a goal line dropout. So, maybe that's something to take. They'll get this ball back now. They can go on the attack and try and find themselves a try.
Yeah, that was a great kick from the captain, Fox. And the West Tigers now, they've just got to build into this set of 6. They can't force the play. We've seen a couple of early errors in their sets of 6. They just have to build and see what comes of it later in the set. And even if they have to take a couple of sets of 6 and they try for a repeat set.
Correct. They've got to try and build something.
So the West Tigers, good run back that time. Who was that? That was the 13.
Burley.
In Burley. And now Wirtz at the line, gets the pass away to Alassana. Arcing run from him, gets the pass on the outside. They might score here in the corner, going himself. Flick back inside. And it's play on to the West Tigers. He almost bombed it then, Lalakabau. And they're brought down half an inch away from the try line. A few metres in from the eastern sideline. And it goes away to Alassana, who started all that with his run and the offload. Back to centre field, the West Tigers go. Along the line, goes to Varga. Pass across to Fox, links up with his winger, who's one man in Tavui, and he'll play the ball now. A couple of plays left in this set of 6, 10 metres away from the Panthers' try line. They go back to the left-hand side now. It goes away from Varga, and great defence there from the Penrith Panthers. Last tackle, what can they come up with? He's hurt too, the 14. Back to the left they go. They got numbers. He had a look, he had a bow peep. I think they might have scored there, Ken.
They were certainly a chance. You can just see the difference in the two teams in terms of structure. When the West Tigers get down here, there's no sort of hole running and second man plays. There's nothing, sort of nobody cutting underneath. It just seems to be a case of trying to beat players with passes, whereas the Panthers have got so much up their sleeve. But as you say, they finally got a numbers advantage on that left side, and unfortunately they came up with the mistake. And the Panthers work it out from their own end now, 35 after this good, strong run out from their own line.
And that's Takala. And you're listening to Curtis Woodward and Cam Hickson through Bar TV Sports, through the CRL Facebook page. And I don't think his teammates knew about that kick. But that's great work from the Panthers to get through. That was 20 and Riley backs who got up. And a big hit there from Bakala. So they're shaping up here, the Panthers. It's good to see for their coaching staff at 48-0 up. They're still wanting to do the hard stuff in defence. And out of the line again goes Backs, but he can't make the tackle. And the West Tigers wriggle away, almost up to the 30. And a bit of push and shove as Wirtz goes through the middle. So it's all a little bit one out, bit one-dimensional for the West Tigers.
Should be a penalty. Oh, I don't know.
And
he was struggling and got it helped out, but the referee said because he was struggling, it was his own problem. And that being the case, it will be a scrum feed to the Panthers, 20 out from their own line, centre field.
Yeah, so not much doing now for the West Tigers. And look, they're not that bad when they're down the other end of the field, or even when they're in the arm wrestle through centre field. The problem has been those one-on-one decisions.
As soon as the Panthers get them down on their own line, whether it be the West Tigers having the ball or the Panthers having the ball, you always feel that the Panthers are going to score a try or the Tigers are going to make a mistake.
So back on the attack go the Panthers. And hasn't he been good? He gets another great pass away. That was Townsend's pass to the 19 and Lemai.
Oh, great
back
ball.
Inside, another beautiful pass. He'll buy the 9. Work to do. Runs away from one.
Give it. Oh,
great defence from West Tigers. They get there 2 metres away from the try line.
Surely
they score away to the right-hand side.
Oh, gone the wrong
they come
way.
To the left.
They're all offside out here.
But for the Panthers, he gets away from one, away from it.
He'll score himself.
And Zion Tawasar gets another one for the Panthers. He started it with a jink off his right, and he sends Lemai away, and the Panthers almost scored through the number 9, Hamid El-Baya, but eventually they get the try anyway. 52-0. The West Tigers are absolutely shot.
Yeah, Tawase, again, he just changed the slight line of his run, and again that had the West Tigers at 6s and 7s, and on this occasion, instead of going himself, he just straightened himself up and then threw the ball to Lemai, and Lemai just ripped down this western touchline on Campbelltown Stadium. He looked like he might have gone all the way himself, went inside, found El-Baya, and El-Baya had Whitty in support. He couldn't find Whitty, and he ended up taking the tackle. They had massive numbers to the right, but they came to the left, and it was Tuasa who started it. He finished it, and it is try number 8. In fact, it might be try number 9.
9, yep, try 9.
Try number 9, in fact, yep.
And that's Cruz Tweedy taking the shot with the old torpedoes on, and that's because the 7's getting a spell.
Connor Mason, they're going to rest him, and they don't want to take any chances. He's had a great game so far, Connor Mason. He's just going to have a breather in this sort of warm autumn afternoon.
Oh, he shanked that, and it's hit the post. So no goal for Cruz Tweedy. It looks like he's got the brand new white Asics on, I think they might be.
The white pants or the skins. I think they're skins these days. The torpedoes years ago.
So 52-0, 24 minutes to play. And there's not much you can say for West Tigers at the moment. They just got to somehow... The only way they can do it is holding the ball and somehow
they've got to set
keeping Penrith at the other end of the field.
Well, they've got to set themselves small goals. So their first goal will be a try. They've got to work towards a try. The game is well and truly gone, but they have got to set themselves little goals, like pin them down here for a set of 6 and then score a try or something like that. That's what they've got to work towards. But at the moment, Penrith just too big and too strong. Yeah, but Carla with a big run there, and one of the starting props is back on, and speak of the devil is Papali. And it's a good run from him in behind the ruck. Draws in the A defender and the B. Back to the right they go. Cruz Tweedy shifts it along the line back to Bacala. Cruz Tweedy looks like a player too. They've just got some good footballing body shapes about them, don't they? They look like football players. Very solid for a first receiver, though, Tweedy. So he's a big boy for a first receiver, but he's doing the job well at the moment. Throws it out to Alexander, who gets tackled 40 out from his own line. Yeah, and Alexander's been a bit quiet lately. I guess you don't have to do much when your rest of your teammates are scoring 50-metre tries. Hasn't been much play down the right side, and that's Alexander's side of the Penrith attacking side. He's the right side player. It's been a lot to this left side, but he will put a kick in here. Very good kick. Splits the winger and the fullback. It'll roll down to the try line, where it'll be picked up by Fox, who brings it back. Just looking, or from memory anyway, it may have happened, but looking at this Daily Cup game and the Johns Cup game earlier, I can't remember a time one of the Penrith halves in either game hasn't found the ground with one of their clearing kicks, which makes all the difference too, because it nulls the momentum of the returning player. It also gives your chasers a chance to go down, surround them, and stop them from doing anything like a 40-metre sideward run looking for a hole. You just circle them in, tackle them down, and then your defence is on the front foot going forward for these next couple of tackles. Back to the right they go. Alasana, who's been very good since he's been on the field, offloads the ball now, back to the 11 in Romeo. Bit of second phase there. It's good stuff, and Alasana has made a difference since he's been on. He's tried hard. He really has tried hard to put a bit of enthusiasm into them. Last tackle for the Tigers. Goes back to Burley for the kick, the 13. It's high and across field, and it's taken by Lemai on the full. Didn't pose too many questions there, the kick. The West Tigers just happy to get through a set of 6 at the moment, and Penrith will work it away. A couple of players slow to get back now for the Panthers. And it's a good run, though. And another offload. He's been almost Penrith's
best. I know the halves have been amazing, but Zion Tawasa, he's got everything. The centre, he's a very good footballer. Owen runs away, tries to break through the West Tigers line, and they come again to make the tackle. And they do so now. Plays it back just before the 50. Goes across the line there for the Panthers through the 17, who's now out there. First touch of the ball for Isaac Targo. Alexander Tweedy. Numbers again on this left-hand side. Danger signs for the West Tigers, but this time, good scramble from the inside. And it's now the last tackle. They're 35 away from the line. They go back to Tweedy, who's now doing the kicking as well. And again, it does find the ground across field. Pressure on the West Tigers on the other side, but eventually they take the ball. So a couple of changes out there, a couple of positional changes, it looks like, Cam, and a few experiments from the coaching staff, which I guess you can do at 52-0.
Well, yeah, they've pulled off Connor Mason. He's come to the sideline. He's probably done for the afternoon. They're not going to take any chances. Lipowitz, who's had a great game, he's also down there. Hanson's on the bench as well. So they've pulled off quite a lot of their players, put them down on the bench, let them the rest of this afternoon. Let the lesser lights really get out there and have some minutes and try and show what they can do as well, because it will be a long season. You add this as well as the opportunity for these boys to push into the flag competition or something like that. Then there's real opportunities for these guys to go into the Penrith actual graded system outside of the representative system. So plenty of opportunities for guys to show their wares in a game that with 20 minutes to go is pretty much already in the books.
Pretty much. I think they've got it, Cam. Lee Mai, just before halfway. And up they go through the centre. So they've got Cruz Tweedy barking instructions from the left, and Alexander out to the right, deep, but it goes to Winbergen, who's back on the field now, the number 10, who was sensational in his first stint. Got a try, almost had a second, almost had a third at one point. Way to Papali, his front row teammate. And as we said, they really laid the foundation in the first half. Slow play the ball. Gets up now. Way to Alexander. Tweedy. Numbers out to the left-hand side again. Away to that man, Taasa. Passes to nobody this time. And there's no one there but Penrith players to go back and get it. And that's Tweedy this time. Loses the ball. Play on to the West Tigers. So thankfully for them and fans and family watching at the ground and on the CRL Facebook page, no more points at this stage. But 19 minutes to play.
The Tigers, it'll seem like a long 19 minutes, won't it, Curtis? It'll drag on. They would rather this one be over in the blink of an eye so they can get to work about next round.
I guess the interesting point, maybe not for the West Tigers coaching staff in this one, but the guys that will be watching on video or live at the moment in the higher grades, the SG Ball, the Harold Mats, anyone that's included in the Magpies or West Tigers, they'll be looking to see how which players react to being 52-0 down.
Correct.
And how they play in this final 20 minutes.
That's all you can do as a player. All you can do, as we said, is set little goals. Pin them down here. You've got them down here now. A good, strong set of 6. And there we see a couple of good tackles again underneath. Cooper Smith looks like he's in there working hard. Just pin them down here, make them kick, and just try and score a try. Try and get something on the scoreboard. That's got to be your aim for this last 20 minutes.
And it's Owen with a settling run, the 5. He's a lanky winger, but very busy. And there he is getting the ball back on the offload. And that's what Penrith have done really well, is push up and support the ball carrier. And El Bay, I don't know if he's at a break yet, the 9. He's been very busy too. Tweedy at the line, away to Riley backs. Good defence from the West Tigers. And they keep the Panthers 2 halfway on the last. Goes to El Bayer. And he's going to kick this time. And he's going to find ground too. Well, amazing stuff in both grades is how well they've kicked. And El Bayer now, who I don't think was supposed to get the ball, had the clearing kick. And now the West Tigers turned around again. They have to get back. I think some of these boys are happy to just keep walking off the field at this stage.
They would, but unfortunately there's still 17 and a half minutes to go, Curtis. They've got to dig deep for this last 17 minutes.
Curtis Woodward and Cam Hickson live from Campbelltown Stadium as we're winding down on this doubleheader on the CRL Facebook page, thanks to Bar TV Sports. As they come up centre field, all games, Andrew Johns Laurie Daily Cup live through the CRL Facebook page. West Tigers now, they hit the right-hand side. Can they get some points on the board and break this duck egg. Last tackle, last chance of this set of 6. Almost loses the ball, runs behind one of his own players. That's the 13 in Burley. And he's going to be held up with the ball. Changeover. And the Panthers have it back. Well, it looks like Burley's going to he's doing the kicking, but geez,
again,
how do you not get a kick away in that situation?
Well, that's where we talk about just having the structures and the disciplines in place to get through that sort of thing. Unfortunately, the Tigers threw a bad pass to Burley, and by the time he juggled it, Panthers were all over him, and you just don't get a kick away. So there is the difference in the discipline, the structures, and the patience of the two teams.
So the Panthers bring it away. Levi hit hard in the tackle. Good defence from the West Tigers. I mean, they're still trying. They're getting up. They're still trying to put some shots on. Alexander loses it behind him. Play on, says the referee, and that's the 16 into Carla. And he's going to play the ball now. Alexander's the dummy half. Away to the right-hand side, goes away to the 17.
That's forward.
Targo.
Oh, got away with one there.
And they've got away with a few today, the Panthers. Away to Alexander now, through the middle, up to the 10.
Again,
away
really?
from another one, he might score. No, the good defence there from the West Tigers. I thought he was just going to score all money there. 2 metres from the line. Now, Bay out of dummy half. He gets the try.
You had to know that was on. He did it in the first half, and he's a sort of dummy half that you know if he gets a sniff, he's going to want to try and burrow over for a try. But too easy for the Panthers. Again, plenty of room down that right side. Alexander looked like he was going to score a try himself. He got pulled up about a metre short, and too easy for Hamed El Baya. He dives over from dummy half, makes it 56-0. The Panthers over the Tigers.
Yep, not much to report at the moment for the West Tigers. The Panthers doing this very easily. And the scary part too, I guess, for some upcoming sides for the Panthers is they may have, just looking at some previous results too, from last week, they drew with St. George Illawarra South Coast 10-10 and went down 34-18 to the very strong Western Rams. I mean, if nothing else, apart from the for and against boost they're going to get from this game, is that they're going to gain a lot of confidence out of what they've done here today, because I don't think they've got down to third gear.
No, and they've got the Riverina Bulls in their next game. And in this Daily Cup, the Riverina Bulls were only 1 point in front of them on the ladder, so that might be a very interesting game next week. And that will be from it'll be from out at St Mary's Leagues Club.
There you go. So Targo, I think it is, who just had a shot at goal. He misses. And in the traditions of 9s and 7s rugby league, he's going to come from the field. And returning is
replaced.
That's it, yep. And the 13, Peter Hansen, is going to come back onto the field. So not much game time there for Targo. Came on into the second half, and he's been replaced, and Hansen's back out there now. Saw a Hansen in the Andrew Johns Cup for the Panthers too, so fair chance they're related.
Yeah, big chance they're brothers, playing against each other in the backyard, and now both playing for the Panthers representative clubs.
So a deep kick-off, and he may have been aiming for the post that time, but they've kicked it down to that man, Winbergen, and he's hit that time. Good defence from the West Tigers. A little halfback was in there. Away to Papali, and he's brought down now just over his own 20. So 13 minutes, 20 seconds to play, and it's 56-0 to the Panthers. And it hasn't got yet, Cam, I say yet, but it hasn't gotten that ugly. I know 56-0's bad, but when you consider the halftime score, it may work out okay for West Tigers in the second half.
It was 42-0 at half-time, so they're hanging in there in the second half, are the Tigers.
And the ref wants it back half a metre, which just stops all momentum in the game. Alexander turns it back inside. And the Panthers
having a run. In fact, I think it is.
So they go back to the right-hand side. Alexander inside the 40. He knew he was right on the precipice of that 40, but he kicks it back in field anyway, so I don't know what he was stressing about. Away to Fox, the fullback. And now he's had
he's tried hard for the Tigers.
He has, but it's one of those afternoons where I'm sure he's happy to get off the field, the amount of work he's had to do from the back. And it doesn't help when his teammates, they give up breaks, and you've got to try to defend some guy running at you at 100 mile an hour and
to be honest, flat-footed. Yeah, they don't have a lot of ammunition in the chambers, the West Tigers, unfortunately, but they are trying hard.
So the West Tigers are only 38 metres away, and they go back through the middle now through the number 9 in Cooper Smith. Last tackle. They need a better end to their set of 6. It's going to go away to the 20. We got a 20 in our program? Was that a 20?
No, we don't have a 20 in our program, unfortunately.
There you go. So the Panthers now through their centre, who's been fantastic for the Penrith side, Zion Tawasa, and he gets the offload away. He looks like the kind of guy, we might come back to it as El Bayer comes down the blind side. Now the hooker's away. He's up to the 50, the number 9, comes back centre field, and the West Tigers do very well through Burley. Well, how about that, El Bayer turning on the afterburners down the sideline, the hooker. Back to centre field, go to the Penrith side.
And he's crammed up for his troubles, El Bayer.
He's gone. The sniper's got him.
He's done a fetlock.
Back to our centre field. Alexander centres the ball, dummies, goes himself. And he's now going to play the ball. Well, surely they can get El Bayer off the field. He's had a huge game. Back to the right-hand side they go. Away to Tweedy. And he goes straight into the line now, takes a settling play. And it will now be the last. 10 metres in from touch, 15 metres away from the West line. 56-0, 10 minutes to go. Back to Alexander. What's he got in the bag of tricks? Ricochets into one of the West players' legs, and he comes back and makes the grab. And the West Tigers are back with the ball through Fox. Time off. El Bayer. He wants to come off the field, I think. He's going to go back in there.
Sorry, why would you blow time off now? At 56 to nothing. If you need to stop the game, but don't blow time off. Let it run. Let us get out of here.
So that's the 5 for the West Tigers who jagged that ball off the last kick. That was Marley Barrett from the Warragamba Wombats. We touched on them in pre-game being on the border of the Group 6 and Penrith districts. They make half a break, the West Tigers, but unfortunately they've passed it to the wrong bloke. They've given it to Alexander, and now Penrith have got the ball back.
Alisano again making a difference out on that left side for the Tigers, trying to get something going. He's been as good a player as the West Tigers have had, and another cramp for the Penrith side. It must be Alexander this time who's struggling.
Just looking at the Penrith 3 out here.
In fact, it's the 20, so it's Riley Backs. No, it's not the 20. 21.
Just looking at the 3 out here, Tuausa. He's instructing Lemai out here on when they're going to get the ball. He looks like the kind of bloke that's got a football in his hand at school. He's walking around high school and he's got the steed in his hand all day long. He's one of those guys that just wants to have a game of football anywhere.
Yep. Quick pick-up game of touch or something.
Yeah, why not?
Get on the basketball court. We can play a game of touch on the basketball court. We can run those blokes off.
Forget maths.
No.
We're playing footy.
Yeah, we're throwing the ball around.
It's math, isn't it?
Yeah, well, math. Isn't it MAFF these days?
2 is 5. Penrith now, another chance for more points. 56-0, 9 minutes 40 to go. It's been a pretty good passage of play for the West Tigers. Papali plays the ball back now. They hit the blind side. Alexander holds it up at the line, spins in the tackle.
Lost.
Hanson loses the ball. Well, West Tigers, bravo, that was good stuff. They put some pressure on.
They're hanging in there.
They numbered up. It was good stuff.
Yep, they are trying to hang in there. They're trying to turn Penrith away. I think Penrith have lost a lot of their structure and their discipline that they have had. But by the same token, the Tigers have still got to turn them away. They've still got to make the tackles and make the Panthers go away, and they're doing that at the moment. They're hanging in there with 9 minutes left on the clock here in the Laurie Daily Cup. It is Penrith 56, the Tigers 0.
Yep. So there were some comments at half time about potentially seeing 100. I don't know who was saying that, but it's not going to happen.
Own up to it, Curtis. It was you.
No, it wasn't. No. So the West Tigers now centre field, 10 away from their own line. Up to the 20 they go. That's a bustling run. We'll pick up the number in a second.
17 by the looks of it. No, we haven't gone to 17.
No, 17. It was the 2 in fact, and that was Salesi Tavui.
Forward pass.
And a forward pass at a dummy half. And when we say it's been a good passage for the West Tigers, I know it's 56-0, but it could be a whole lot worse, but they aren't giving up, which is something they can take out of this game.
Well, this is where you would expect if they were going to sort of drop their bundle now, where they've turned the Panthers away a couple of times. They started to work it off their own line, and all of a sudden they give up a very easy turnover. So it'll be very interesting to see whether or not the Tigers can hang on with 8 minutes left on the clock.
Curtis Woodward, Cam Hickson, dying stages of this one. Thanks for watching. And just repeating the early game, the Panthers were way too good for West Tigers in the Andrew Johns Cup 2. And of course, just on another level in this one. And there's that man again. He's Tuasa. He said, no, I'm going to take the ball on the right-hand side as well. I'll take it up. He plays it now. Dummy half is El Bayer. Gets the pass away to Papali. Winbergen, he's gone to the other side of the field. He wants another one, but they go to the left, away to Tweedy. Overrides the play. Numbers, backs, gets it away to that man, gets the pass away, does the right thing, gives it to his winger. Lemai gets the try. And again, fantastic stuff from Zion Tauasa, who just played a little bit of football, looked up, saw what was in front of him and said, I better give this pass.
Well, he was only just getting himself back into position. You'd only just caught him. He'd gone into the middle of the field to take a play from the scrum and take a run off the scrum. So he had to hurry himself back into position, and he was only just getting there as the pass came. And as you said, he got himself there, and he sort of summed it up and thought, I'm going to get myself a hat trick here. And as he went to dive for the line, all the defence converged on him. He thought, oh, I've got an unmarked winger outside. I better do the right thing. And he did the perfect thing. Threw it out to Christian Lemai, and he dives over in the corner for his first one of the afternoon and makes it 60-0.
Well, I've never seen Penrith fullback Jackson Whittick kick a goal, but he has taken this back 25 metres on the sideline. He's mad.
Confident of his own.
Absolutely mad.
Confident of his own ability, isn't he? He's gone back a long way.
So Whitty, the fullback, to make it 62-0 with 6 minutes 20 to play. And I think if the West Tigers, they had the choice, I reckon they'd call it quits about now.
Yeah, they'd probably say to the ref, we've had enough, thanks.
So to make it 62-0, moves in, and it's away to the right.
Tell you what, though,
it's
about a metre short.
What? Anyway, 60-0. And we can see out here on Campbelltown Stadium too the markings from a previous Sydney FC Wellington game, which reminds me that the local area will have the Macarthur United A-League side, and there's some signs out the front, which is very exciting for the local area, which has nothing to do with rugby league, but it's very hard to fill time when this.
When it is
the second half we've had
60-0 in favour of the Panthers.
So can the West Tigers get a try? Let's ride them home. Let's get the West Tigers a try.
Try and get them on the board.
Huge kick. That's a Pat Richards kick, and it goes down the other end of the field, and that's 18. I think that might be Taruva, the 18.
Or is that the 16? Is that Takala? I think that's Takala.
No, that's the 16. My apologies. Yep. That is Takala. And good contact. Actually heard it up from up here on Winbergen. Good defence there from the West Tigers. Away to the right, Alexander turns it back inside now. And the West Tigers, they haven't been that bad in defence. You know, the first three tackles of most sets, but
it's usually on the back of a mistake. They get down on themselves when they make a mistake, and you can almost pick the times where Penrith are going to split them and score tries. Like at the moment, you wouldn't say that Penrith are going to find a gap and score a try in this set of 6, because the Tigers are defending well. But after a mistake, you could almost back.
Yeah, there's a lost ball there. Yep. Yeah, and
good hard tackle. The Tigers again just manning up in defence.
Yeah, and that was Papali who took that shot, and he hit the ground flush. And it's unfortunately for him, he's going to head back to the sheds.
Yeah, you had the two big men for the Tigers, Wirtz and Zara, were both in there, and they were driving hard, and yeah, that just took a little bit of the wind out of Isaac Papali.
So some of these boys out here, you'd think Alexander might get a spell, but he might play out the game.
No, he'll play out the game. As I said, I don't think they'll make another change now. The Panthers, I think they'll finish with what they've got on the field.
Goes away to Cowley, the 3. Plays it now. A try late to the West Tigers. That will be fantastic for their fans and for them as well.
For them, absolutely, to take something into next week. Just to take some sort of confidence going into next week.
Contact there from Winbergen on his opposite in Kai Wirtz. And he's a Mittagong boy. He's tough. He's a tough country lad. He gets straight back to his feet. Tavui in for a run. Quick hands across the line out of Barrett. But not much doing there for the West Tigers. 3 tackles in this set of 6. The dummy half is Cooper Smith. Back inside it goes. Away to Burley, who's toiled. He's toiled pretty hard. No,
he's been one of their best, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he's just tried hard all afternoon.
Half a metre away from the line. Can they get a try, the West Tigers? At the line they go. And a little dinking kick. And might be an offside Panthers player.
No, that's okay.
And the referee's
going to say accidental offside, I would imagine. Yep, he's going to say it's an accidental offside, and the West Tigers will get a scrum feed.
So there you go.
So you were right, he was in front of him, but he's going to say because it was a ricochet.
That in writing.
Because it was a ricochet, it's going to be an accidental offside. Thought he was going to let it play, but I'd say he got the call from this near side touch judge. So he's blown it up for the accidental offside, and the Tigers will get 6 more. Can we get them a try? 3 minutes on the clock. A full set of 6 inside the 20 go the Tigers.
Yeah, and they shift it out to the left-hand side. Fox tries to run around them on the outside. Gets the pass away. Can they keep it in field? They do. It's good work from the winger on that side of the field in Tavui. And luckily enough for West Tigers, they hold on to the pill. Back centre field it goes to Luke Cowley. The 3 almost goes through himself. He's had a couple of really good touches of the ball, the 3. Doing the hard yards. Away to the left they go. Back to centre. A crunching tackle there from Winberg.
Yeah, he doesn't miss, does he, Winberg?
You don't run at him. Back to the right. Goes across the line. Wirtz at first receiver. And it's a poor pass, and the front rower can't do anything with it. You can't blame him for that. Couple of plays left instead of 6, as Cam says. Back to the right it goes. Away from Varga. Some footwork at the line from Burley. Tries to get the pass inside. Does so. Back to Varga. Numbers back to the left-hand side. It goes to the 8 in Zara. And the front rower with the green headgear is going to play it back. 2 minutes to go in the game. Out of dummy half goes Cooper Smith, and it's the last tackle
and wasted it.
And he changes. It's going to be a changeover. Well, that's a poor end of the set for the West Tigers, and that's been a bit of the story of their day. But they looked okay, very close to the line.
But again, they just lack that little bit of class and structure, don't they? Just to put on a set move that they've been practicing at training to be able to maybe put a man in a hole and then cut him out and go to the man behind. The second man play, something like that they needed to throw at the Panthers that they couldn't. They're going to get one last throw of the dice as the Panthers make a mistake 20 out from their own line, and the Tigers will have about a minute left on the clock by the time this scrum packs to maybe throw one last salvo at the Panthers.
Yeah, SLE Worldwide, they're the major sponsor of these 2 great competitions, and along with Country Rugby League's partner, Anytime Fitness, as well. So 60-0, minute to play. West Tigers with the last chance of the game, you'd suspect. Across the... Look at that for a line. That's a great run again from Cowley. He's going to take the tackle 10 metres away. Can they get a late consolation try? Very slow play, the ball. Back inside they go. Away to Zara. Takes the tackle. Settling play. Numbers out of the right-hand side, though. And across now to the 15 in Thomas Chanter from the Camden Rams. Plays it back now. Back to the right again they go. Varga. Flat ball at the line away to the 12. And that's Rapatoni. Right on the try line. 34 seconds to play. 60-0 to the Panthers. West Tigers. Ball out of the right-hand side. They might get their try.
Did he get there? Yes, he has.
They've got one. Good on the West Tigers and good on the winger, Salesi Tavui. He's worked tirelessly for a well-beaten side this afternoon. Great try for him, and the West Tigers get on the scoreboard with 10 seconds to play.
They got there. They're not going to get beaten to nothing. The Tigers are going to get something out of their afternoon. It is 60-4 with the kick to come. I don't even know if they'll worry about the kick, but it is 60-4, and the Tigers, they get a last-minute try as time now expires in this game, and the Panthers will be deserved winners in the Laurie Daily Cup.
Yeah, and just before we do go, because we will be off the air pretty quickly, just go through those sponsors one more time. SLE Worldwide, Anytime Fitness, and Bar TV Sports. They've brought you all the camera work and obviously the stream today through the Country Rugby League website, and also to Liam, the great man, who's been awesome with the camera work today. And this shot at goal will come eventually for the West Tigers. And how far is he taking this one back? He's taking it back 27. This is good. I like this. And it's the 13, James Burley, who deserves to take this shot. He's probably been close to West Tigers' best, if not the busiest.
Well, he's done a lot of their kicking today, so I'd say he probably is their number 1 kicker. So interesting to see how he goes here.
He's a happy Gilmore too. I reckon he's going to belt this. Look at the legs on him. Moves in, hits it. He tries to bring it back. No goal.
Plenty of distance,
made the distance by a mile. So full time, Penrith 60 have defeated the West Tigers 4. Considering at half-time it was 42-0. It's a pretty good second half, a pretty good result for the West Tigers. Cam, a final thought from you, a real quick one before we wrap it all up.
Yeah, thanks, Curtis. Again, a pleasure being out here for Bar TV and for Country Rugby League. But the Panthers just too good in all areas across the park. They were structured, they were disciplined, and above all, they were classy. They were led from the front from Papali and Winberger, and basically their halves, Mason, who sat most of the second half off, and Alexander, they just did what they needed to do to steer the team around, and then the likes of the centre three-quarter Tawasa, just too good for the Tigers this afternoon. Thoroughly deserved win. The Tigers tried hard, but they weren't in the same class as the Panthers.
On behalf of Cam Hickson and Liam, our fantastic cameraman, I've been Curtis Wood. Thanks for watching. 2 big wins for the Penrith Panthers, and thanks to Bar TV Sports and, of course, the Country Rugby League. All games in the Andrew Johns and Laurie Daily Cup streamed through the Country Rugby League Facebook page. Thanks for watching.